Interject is a good word.
It's still a little gay.
Still gay, alright then.
Could I slip a subject in?
It's got, yeah, it's not better.
No, it's got the slip word in it, which could be
Slip, jacket, and all this stuff going on here. There's fluids. It's fluid. You need to stop.
He wants to jack the conversation.
Do we need some lube?
Go ahead, mate. We're just fucking around.
Okay.
Go ahead, Quasi ejaculated.
See, there's a quote in the debate chat box there where somebody says, one person's horizontal is another person's vertical. What do you think of that?
Sounds like bullshit to me.
Sounds relative to me.
I bet someone stood on their head.
Sounds like someone's lying down and looking at the world sideways.
It's like somebody's got a wrong view of that statement then, is it?
It does sound kind of stupid, yeah. But I think it's just meant as a joke, don't you?
Oh, no, that's not a joke.
Well, it's not terribly funny, I admit, but I can't imagine somebody seriously putting that forward.
Yeah, that's a teacher. That's one of your one of your top maths people.
That's like saying sending a parcel to Australia in the box upside down, and when they get it, it'll be the right way up.
I mean, I'm straining to find a context where that would be a valid statement, even a valid idea. See, I suppose if the notion is that you've got a horizon here, you're looking at it, to you it's horizontal, but to someone else it would be vertical. The line of that horizon, let's say. I mean, I suppose if you were at one of the poles, then from the equator, the equator, the horizon is thus, and at the pole it would be 90 degrees turned in that regard. But that's a stretch, and I don't even know if that's what they're trying to get at. I can't really find a context for that idea.
Yeah, it does sound a bit silly to me because they're perpendicular, aren't they?
I don't think it's well conveyed, and I don't think it has a lot of utility. I don't know what he's trying to get at, though. This is, I can't see the whole concept.
It's a she.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Bev, you probably misunderstood whatever the fuck they meant.
She's a Canadian teacher.
Bless her heart. I'm a Canadian too, so how could she possibly be wrong? I don't know what she means. I don't think it's a terribly useful statement, but I don't know. I'd have to talk to her and ask her what she meant, I guess.
Yeah.
What was the context, mate? Do you know? Or is it just a few words on the screen?
We're talking about horizontal and vertical and Euclidean geometry to a maths teacher. So yeah, that's what it's about. It's just about Euclidean geometry. It's
horizontal and vertical are always relative to something, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
well, this is where you get stuck, isn't it? Like you all end up saying
relative
silly
at the
things.
start.
No, I'm not stuck to anything. I'm trying to explain something to you, but if that's how you're going to be, fuck you.
Obtrusive.
So,
I asked who the fuck this person is because I've never seen this person.
It's Kay.
Before.
It's Kay.
I don't know
the
them.
teacher. She's on Twitter. She makes videos.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't know who she is.
She's one of you lot.
That's like if I just went out and randomly found the newest flat earther that nobody's ever heard of yet with one video and said,
you know what you are.
It's Jake.
We don't need
you know damn well that people that know the Earth is round are not a monolith of information. We can disagree with each other. We can be wrong about things. So can you. It's not like flat earthers are all represented by any flat earther you happen to pick, and they all say exactly the same thing. They all agree with each other, and they're always right. That doesn't happen either. So cut with the shit.
Well, see, look, she's done a meme as well, like to help you guys out.
Wow, she did a meme?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Notice again how she's one of us with a great incredulity in your voice, because it's really selling it.
What do you mean?
So are all flat earthers the same?
What?
Are all flat earthers? Do you agree with all flat earthers?
Have we been over this or not?
I haven't. Do you agree with all flat earthers?
I don't think flat earthers exist. I think that's an imaginary group of people that you guys have made up.
Oh, you're being a cunt now, Bev. You know
What
what
the hell are you
you
talking
know
about?
the group I'm. Hang on. You know the group I'm referring to, right?
I don't. No.
What
I
label?
don't group people
What label
like
do you
that.
want to give them?
Pardon?
Globe deniers.
People?
Globe deniers. What label do you want
Other
to give them?
people?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give them that label. Other people.
So when you
That's
said
who we're
you
talking
lot,
about.
Go on then.
when you said you lot, what did that mean? Like all of
Contrarian.
us round earthers are the same?
No. Like everybody
Just
is
call
different.
us
but
other people, okay?
You are.
Call us other people
You
as
are
well.
the globe defenders. You are the guys.
Really? Are we?
Yeah. Of course
You are the globe attackers then. Is that what you want to call yourselves?
Yeah.
So
What do you call yourselves? You call yourselves other people.
I call myself a realist that wants to some
Right.
questions answered.
Right.
Okay.
I'm
A
calling you
realist
Muppet
who
without
gets
evidence.
everything wrong?
How do you like that one?
Globe
Muppet
attacker,
without
right,
evidence.
man. Globe attacker.
Well, can you see this meme that's been made by that teacher? By that teacher that just said.
You must trust it. Oh,
By
it's a meme.
that teacher that just said one person's horizontal
By
can be another
that
person's vertical.
Teacher.
Yeah.
Not my fucking
Hang on,
teacher.
Okay, but can you see it? The meme. Because it's got a bit of logic in it as well. That we can access this bit of logic along with the meme.
You would know logic, it would slap you upside the head.
Well, can you go over this one and explain this to me then?
No.
Oh,
No.
We can.
What about any of the facts within it? Can you explain any of them?
Not you.
No.
It's boring, Bev.
Can you
It's
explain
boring.
the geometry within this meme then?
I could
Even
give
if
you
we-
a video that will.
Even if we tried, you'd just say.
It says.
Start lying about it.
It says in that thing there though, right? The sum of the interior angles brackets zenith angles. Can you tell me what that is?
Dude, you don't even know what the fuck these words mean. Why do
I'm
you want
asking.
to
I'm
explain?
asking you. Can you tell me?
You don't know anything about geometry.
I
Yeah,
don't.
what's a zenith, Bev?
That's why I'm asking
What's
you.
zenith?
Can you tell me what the sum of the zenith angles could be?
No.
please?
If you don't know what the fuck it means,
No,
why are you questioning?
I do know what it means. I'm
What
questioning
zenith?
Tell
you
us what it means.
guys to see whether you
I know what it
guys
means.
can teach any of you
Define
guys this.
No, I don't.
Why are you
I don't know what
putting
this
around?
meme means,
Just
mate. Can you-
answer Bev. Just answer Bev. Shut him down and answer him.
Yes.
All right, Bev, you understand that there's two plumb lines on that picture, right? And they're
You won't shut him
not
down.
parallel.
Pardon? Which geometry are you using?
No. I said,
You
look
won't
at the
shut him
two
down.
plumb lines,
Mhm.
and they're not parallel, are they?
In that picture, would they would be representative of a vertical, would they?
Why
I'll
is he
ask
so
the question
fixated
again.
on Euclidean geometry? I mean, I've heard this guy retard over
Okay, so you're not using Euclidean
nuance
geometry then,
for
are
a
you?
1,000 times.
Surveyors.
Bev,
Using Euclidean
Bev.
geometry.
Yeah, okay.
It's the only
I'll
Bev,
ask
the
the question
situation, Bev, the problem that picture demonstrates wouldn't exist if the Earth were flat.
So that picture, can we get this right? Like, do you want to work through the logic bit first, and then we can get to the picture
I tried
afterwards?
to. Yeah, I tried to, and you
Okay.
wouldn't even answer my question.
So if plumb lines are parallel, P.
No, I
Yes,
said.
that's the beginning. Open. That's your antecedent
no,
of
forget
this
what
logical statement.
No, take your antecedent and shove it, right? I asked you a question about the plumb lines. Are they parallel?
Yes, they are. Right? But
Are
let's work through this logical statement that has been laid out before us.
Logical.
Do you not understand the logic? How it's
That's funny
how
because
logic's
those
worked?
two plumb lines are not bloody parallel, mate.
See what you're doing there. You're getting confused by the picture and not looking at the logical statement.
No, it's not about the
Bev,
statement.
Bev, I'll play your game. Go through it with me because
Okay.
I'll cooperate.
All right. Okay. If plumb lines are parallel, P, right? Antecedent. Consequent of that is then the sum of the interior angles, bracket, zenith angles, will be 180 degrees. Is that a true statement? Is that a consequent of plumb lines being parallel?
She's right, yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that is what a zenith angle, when you add them up, the sum of is 180 degrees. Is that true?
If the plumb lines are parallel, yes.
Right, so can you answer me this then? What is a zenith angle?
The zenith angle,
Yeah.
the zenith being the point directly overhead, the zenith angle is the angle from looking level ahead to looking up to your zenith.
No. A zenith angle is just an angle from the zenith to the point that you are looking at, isn't it?
That's what you just said.
No, it's specifically, the zenith angle specifically is the angle from level to your zenith.
Oh.
Pardon?
So what you define as up.
No, the zenith is the point directly above your head. That is your zenith.
Correct.
It is
The
a personal...
zenith angle is the angle from ahead of you to above you.
No, it's from that zenith to whatever it is you are looking at. That's the zenith angle. Okay? Can we agree on that?
Fine, I'll use your definition. Okay, yes, continue.
Okay, so that Q is not a consequent, is it? Because the sum of them angles are whatever they are. They are not 180 degrees. So, not minded the P's and Q's like it says in the thing. So they don't really... whoever's wrote this doesn't understand logic, do they?
They have to be 180 for it to be a flat Earth. So you have to do an experiment.
No, to the horizontal
So
they
180.
do. From the zenith to the horizontal to level would be 90 degrees.
He's showing that they're not parallel.
No, he's
because
not.
you measure more than
No,
180,
no.
proving a globe Earth.
No, we're just dealing with the logic here, okay?
I'm telling you what the meme means, but
Yeah, I know. We'll get
She's
to that.
debunked-
We will
she's
get
debunked
to
flat Earth.
that in a minute, okay? So,
Oh man.
the sum of
You
the
have
interior zenith angles is greater than 180 degrees.
Oh, it's a sphere.
Well, that's what they say. But
Welcome to
the
globe
initial
Earth, Bev.
the initial
Welcome to globe
Q
Earth.
was wrong. So that
not, though.
is also not that.
No, it's
so
not.
that doesn't work. Okay, wait a minute.
Because the
Wait,
lines were never
Bev,
parallel to
Bev,
begin with.
So listen,
Bev,
listen. Wait a
Bev,
minute.
would you be Bev, would you be satisfied if the logical statement also made the stipulation that the 2 points from which you're measuring the zenith angles are the same elevation above the surface?
I would be happy if the logical statement made sense. But if you
Answer my
if you
question.
let this logical statement that is wrote down finish, please.
That is
Because
wrote down.
it says,
Field authority.
therefore, plumb lines are not parallel. So you've worked out from flawed logic, a very flawed logical statement, that
Not within the framework
plumb
of that
lines
picture.
are not parallel. So that's just the logical statement that's flawed and wrong.
It's not wrong.
Let's
No,
go.
it's
It's not wrong.
You don't understand it, dude.
The
not
logical
wrong.
statement is wrong.
You gotta
because
work
Q's
backwards
it's
from
not
it.
badly
No.
flawed.
You can clearly see. What does it say in the second line underneath Casey says? What does it say? Read it.
No, that's the picture. That's got nothing
Read
to
it.
do with the logical
it.
statement.
Okay, you read it to him.
It says these plums are not parallel.
Okay.
Then,
we can
on
get to
either
that,
side of those words, we have angles.
Yep.
Can you see the angle?
yeah.
They're greater than 180. So what it's
boy.
saying,
Yep.
what it's saying is if the plumb lines are parallel, which they're not, follows on to not P, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But if they
So
were,
not flat.
so not flat. If
Yeah.
they were parallel,
Not
then it
flat.
would if they were parallel, then it wouldn't be greater than 180, and therefore Q. But that's not what we're seeing here. Not both in the worded
You
explanation.
don't
and
even
your
understand the
understanding
basic
of it.
logic, do you guys?
You don't understand it. You
yeah, I
think
do.
you
I
understand.
really. But anyway,
You don't even
I'm
believe
really
that
deep down.
you know who?
Hold on.
You know who
You don't
grafted
believe that the not Q, not P is shown in that diagram.
It's a flawed
You can't
Q.
even see it.
It's a badly flawed
Wait,
Q.
wait. Is Bev talking about the logical statement and not about the diagram at all?
I'm going to get
Yeah.
to the diagram now. That's what I've just said.
Yeah, he's
Look.
just talking about the
That's
state.
just the logical. That's all I said. Just the logic. Flawed. Now we're going to
Why?
get. Now we are going to get.
That logical statement is written within the framework
yes.
of the image. Which is why when I'm saying the zenith
Okay.
angle is the angle
Brilliant.
from the zenith,
We're going to get to the. We're going to get.
It's because those two observation points are supposed to be at the same elevation.
Going to get
of
to
the
the
Earth.
image now, though, as a separate thing completely. So,
what? No, well,
can I
hold on.
just? I'm just going to validify that image for you. Okay.
Wait, it's not.
Maybe we should
They're-
just wait till it gets to the end.
Okay.
Guys, maybe we should just wait till it gets to the end.
Yeah, I reckon we should
All
consider
right,
wants to
get
get
this out.
He's already got the noose around his neck. Carry on, Bev.
Okay, right. So
let him just go to the end.
that diagram that goes along with that badly flawed logical statement is owned and made by the main surveyor. So this is one of your guys, right? That says he's measured that the plumb lines are not parallel, right? So this guy that wrote this, drawn this picture, has actually measured for you guys. So this is the man, your man.
Yeah, quick, mate, quick.
Oh, come on, get to the point.
So he's
Is
drawn.
it the man? Wait. Is it the man? I don't know. He didn't say. Is it the man?
He's drawn that picture.
Is it a woman?
Now, can you see?
Did the man draw that picture?
Do you not? It's because it hurts you, isn't it?
Carry on.
No, just stop repeating yourself and get to your fucking point.
He measured it.
Bev,
yes.
if you make it quick, hang on, guys. If you make it quick, hang on, guys. Bev, if you make it quick, we'll let you get to the end. If you're gonna keep interjecting little bits and pieces of you see, and that sort of crap, you're gonna get interrupted. So just make it quick and get to the.
Your guy that said claimed he's measured.
He measured it.
Yep.
Carry on. Next.
Can you see the drawing that he's got?
Yes.
Intersecting horizontals. Yeah. He can't answer the question, which geometry are you using when measuring?
Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness.
Are you that thick?
Yep.
Really? Are you that thick? What do you use
that it
to
now?
measure
You done?
geometry?
You don't
Hang on.
measure
Are you done
geometry.
now,
You
Bev?
use a particular geometry to measure, don't you?
You can use
You've
Euclid.
done now, Bev. Can everyone rip you apart now?
Yeah. Go
We're
on.
using angles.
Yep.
That's what we're measuring.
Yep.
And we're deducting the available angles from 180.
Yep. From 180.
And if
in
we get a
triangle.
minus value,
Or is
if
that
we get a minus value,
is that a straight line?
then it's over 180, isn't it?
Yeah,
if
is
we
that a
plus,
straight line?
if we add them together, then we get a
Okay. So
excess.
what are
So
you
both-
assuming there?
Well, it's going to be over 180, isn't it? If
Of
we
course
add
it is.
94 and 94 together, what do
Yep.
we get?
So if I set up a level at the side of a beach that's 6 foot
Ooh,
off the
188.
floor, and I
188.
measure a zenith angle to the horizontal, there will be a little bit extra, won't there?
Is it to
Yes.
the horizontal
Yeah.
or the tangent, mate? Is it tangent or horizontal? Which one is it?
Well, you could claim it's both tangent.
is
Yeah, I
and
know,
angle.
but
funny.
but wait, I'm waiting to hear the angle from zenith to tangent. What is it?
What tangent to what? Where's the tangent?
To the
Well,
sphere.
you don't know what a tangent is, do you?
Yeah, of course I know what a tangent is.
That's a little
What
fruit,
is it?
isn't it?
What is it then?
In which geometry are we talking about?
What
It
is
doesn't
a
matter.
tangent
I don't think
line?
it-
Doesn't matter. How do you define a circle?
What the fuck is
Well,
a tangent line? I'll ask you again.
How do you define a line?
Tell us
What's a tangent
Tell us
line?
all the different tangents. Tell us all the different tangents you can,
And
mate.
the different geometries. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
want me
all
to
the
tell
different
you?
geometries you're asking about.
I only use
you tell us.
Euclidean geometry, mate. That's the only
Why?
geometry I
Right
use.
then. Right then. If you know only Euclidean, what's the tangent then?
What is a tangent?
No, the tangent.
It's not only one
There is only
tangent.
one.
It's not such a one thing, is there?
You can't have two tangent lines on a
course you
bloody
can.
triangle.
On a triangle?
How?
How many tangent lines do you think you have on
Well,
a triangle?
all we've got, listen. All
Oh,
we've got
dear.
is a zenith. Listen, we've got a zenith and a tangent, right? We've only got two lines making one
You
angle.
know, you've got a zenith and a horizontal, don't you? You have like a vertical and a horizontal. They're your two frames of reference.
No.
No.
The horizontal is only created because it's created off the plumb line itself. It's
No, it's
only
not.
creating
No.
yes, and that's your horizontal
A
line.
level is
center.
a separate tool than a plumb bob, isn't it?
You can
The two
see it
separate
there,
tools,
but the
completely
plumb
separate.
line angle, is not
The
90
plumb line
degrees.
angle.
Yeah,
Can I
it's
ask him a question?
94.03.
I want to ask him a question because it's so fundamental to what he's been saying. If you have a basketball and you try and use Euclidean geometry to find out information, take those same measurements and explain them.
Like a volume
using
or
Euclidean.
yeah, like a volume.
What?
No, not like a volume, like angles on the surface of the ball.
Oh, angles on the surface of the ball. Why would I need to do that?
I want to know what a pi wedge of it's going to be like.
You want to know what it'd be like? Can you not just sort of look at it?
How about you use it? I want to have numbers.
Why? Because is that
Because
because maths
I want-
proves things?
That is my objective, and I want you to use Euclidean geometry.
Well, that's your objective.
If your whole meme that you brought up is about numbers, what are you talking about?
What meme?
This is so funny, Biv.
The whole picture and formula is about numbers.
That KC
You've
one.
got a horizontal.
Yeah,
you've got a
today's
horizontal point
Yeah.
on both plumb lines.
Guys, you can't
The
keep
line
over talking
between
each other.
them-
It's not working.
The line between them is the horizontal. Is the line of sight. The line of sight is measured to the plumb line. That angle. Now, on a flat Earth, it would be straight up and down 90 degrees horizontal to the other, especially if you were able to get the same elevation from the topology of the Earth. This only destroys flat Earth further and further. What
Not
is your
Q.
problem with it? It's not Q. Therefore, not
no.
P.
Can you see the
can see very
horizontal
well.
at line A and the horizontal at line B?
Yeah, I see it.
Now,
yeah.
within Euclidean geometry, there is one where any terminated line can be extended. Yeah, do you know about that one? So let's extend that horizontal and let it touch the other vertical. Right?
Yeah.
Now, is that vertical that's touching that horizontal perpendicular?
Didn't follow it exactly, but I don't think so.
No.
Sounds
So,
like,
so
it's
would that
not.
mean horizontal and vertical in that picture there are not perpendicular?
do those same lines on a ball.
Right.
If the
So
line of sight has been measured against
that
the plumb line.
cannot be
Of the
Euclidean
perpendicular
geometry. This is
horizontal
my
line.
point.
Unless it's a ball, you fucking mong.
Oh, right. So
But I don't understand why you keep going on about Euclidean geometry.
well, because
is
that's
just-
how they measure
It
things.
doesn't really.
No,
Do they?
he says
Measure a
it's
ball.
not.
I
Yeah,
always
yeah,
ask you to measure a fucking ball, you twat.
You measure using Euclidean geometry,
Measure a ball.
where
Okay.
lines
and what
that
do
are
you
perpendicular
measure?
to
What do
other
you measure it
lines.
as using Euclidean geometry? What is your point? What do you think you achieve
Well-
in your version of the mathematics? What's your version of the answer? Go on.
Okay, imagine the water level is horizontal, right? And you drop a perpendicular plumb line to that level. It hits it perpendicular, doesn't it?
Imagine.
Right. So we're taking your example that's got nothing to do with this
Yeah, it's
meme.
it's
Is that what
surveying.
you're doing now?
Surveying.
Right. So
Yeah,
this
it's
surveying is
your
based
surveying.
on an Occupy station A
The
and B.
main surveyor drew that picture.
Yeah, but you're surveying on top of water.
You're now going to
I'm
water all
just
of a sudden.
using. I'm
Water is
using.
fucking curved.
I'm
You
using the
mong,
water
is
level.
curved. That's what the implication is. Is it?
Hold on. Are you suggesting that all water bodies are completely flat?
He's trying.
Yeah, the
I think
surface
so.
of water
He's using a meme of someone saying they're not to
is
try and say they are. Very
Yes.
confusing.
is
Very
known
confusing.
as a
Also,
This is a
horizontal
land surveyor,
plane.
not water surveying. You realize that, right?
Land.
Yeah.
Go to land.
Land.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I also know where
they
this
don't need to
information
survey
comes
the
from, by way.
water because the water level is horizontal. That's the
No, it's
datum
not.
Read the
they
book.
use.
It's not. It's
No.
not.
Read
Water
the
level
fucking
is.
book.
Oh my god.
Sorry,
water level
Wallaby.
is not complete. It's not completely flat. Water levels are not completely flat.
I didn't say
They're
flat.
not flat at all.
Didn't say flatter anyway, did I?
Well, I think that's what you were
That was
suggesting.
your word. You like that word. I said
You
level.
need it for
You said
Euclidean geometry to work, retard.
You said that they were horizontal.
Yeah,
Water levels are horizontal.
Yep. Yeah,
Well,
a
isn't that
water
the same
level
thing
is
as
a tool for establishing a horizontal plane.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
Oh,
every bit of
no.
water ever is a water level, Bev.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Oh my
You're
goodness.
talking about a tool again.
Yeah.
You're conflating a tool with an ocean again.
But they're only a water level is the same as a plumb line as well, right? That they're similar tools that
Yeah, one just does the horizontal, the other does the vertical.
does the vertical.
Yeah, practical use of the tools.
Yeah, but if you
With
get two
gravity's
plumb
help.
lines far enough apart, their angles are greater than.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
180 degrees.
You've got the main surveyor that's claimed that.
Yeah,
All
he's
right,
surveying
let's
land,
stop
not
again.
water. Do you
So what
realize
are the
that?
implications of what the surveyor did? What are the implications of that? You
No
find
one
that they're
knows.
not plumb.
Why
Not.
is he
Are you saying they're not plumb, or are you saying they're not perpendicular?
Like I'm saying there, I'm showing in that picture. Is he saying he's disproved Euclidean geometry? Because that's what it seems to look like to me.
That's not what he's saying.
Oh.
Okay, let me take it back. Go back to the fucking basketball and try and measure the basketball. Do what I said.
No, it just use Euclidean geometry and the
Go ahead.
axioms
Do
within it.
Euclidean to measure a basketball,
Yeah,
retard.
Like, is maths not something to give you proof? Does geometry not give you proof?
Measure a
Hang on,
basketball,
you're the one.
retard.
Yeah, you're the one who cracked the shits at us for using fucking maths in the first place.
No, I didn't say that.
You're
You did
misusing
so.
math.
I'm
You are
misusing maths.
Yes.
How can you misuse maths? This is geometry anyway, isn't
Applying
it?
the wrong thing to it.
Yeah. Do you not
That's what
see?
I've been
Do you not
saying for
see
this
that the
time.
line that's been measured is created because of the position of the horizontal line at each observation point?
Okay, so
it's not water; it's land.
Can we
and the line of sight against the plumb line is what creates the greater than 90-degree angle.
Okay, so that
This
is
is
that plumb
basic
line only
deduction.
Perpendicular to that one
And
particular
why is the plumb
horizontal?
line doing what it's doing? It's because
Is
of
that-
gravity. Your water level, gravity. All of these things that you want to try and erase from the equation.
No, I'm
and then
dealing
you
with
go and I ask you to explain the meme, and what do? You start talking about water level. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's a practical implication of a horizontal, isn't it?
But let's answer your answer with this meme. Stay on the meme. That's what you brought to the.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Now, answer it.
Okay. So you've got a plumb line and a horizontal. Now, are you claiming, like this picture seems to claim, that that particular plumb line and horizontal are independent to all of the other verticals and horizontals?
Yes. Well, the other plumb lines.
Oh.
So you have a plumb.
This example.
Yes, exactly right. So the horizontal is only perpendicular to the plumb line itself. That's being measured at that one point. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, as I'm trying to say, is within Euclidean geometry, that postulate number 2 says that a line can be extended to any length. So that means every horizontal can be lengthened to meet every other vertical, doesn't it?
Well, in this diagram itself, they are extending the horizontal.
Are you talking about 2 dimensions?
Right? I'm just talking about perpendiculars as stated within Euclidean geometry, definition 10.
Well,
for anybody that's interested.
The plumb line, the horizontals are being created by they're only there because they're perpendicular to the plumb line itself. And they do extend. You can see in the diagram here that they're extending those lines of the horizontal just to illustrate, right? They haven't extended them all the way. They're only illustrating.
No, but they can be the geometry. Euclidean
They
geometry
could
states that
they could actually just be dots, Biv. They could actually be dots that connect together to be the line of sight. The horizontal shows that they're horizontal.
Do you know the definition of a line in Euclidean geometry?
Don't even.
How many times are you going to say Euclidean geometry?
I have no idea. He said it so many times.
Yeah, no, it's because I know exactly why. It's because he doesn't want to say non-Euclidean because it means he's going to.
Can you define Euclidean first to tell me what it is not, please?
Yeah. Okay. Euclidean geometry. Anything on the X, Y, and Z axis.
Right. So you're not. That's not the geometry you're using. So you can't use X, Y, and Z in reference to the geometry you're talking about, can you?
Money on that, my friend.
I think we actually can. Just because you're using one kind of geometry doesn't mean you can't describe it in a different way. Or you can't describe Euclidean in non-Euclidean ways. That's ridiculous. I don't understand why. Like it's not so rigid. It's not as rigid as that.
You can use Euclidean geometry to actually make a ball. You know that,
exactly.
right?
Yes, and also, this observation is a 2D orthographic representation of a 3D world. So therefore, you do have an X, Y, Z. If you extended any line out in the direction that we're looking at it, towards us or away from us.
Yep.
Well, yeah, you could imagine that there's a Z-axis there. Absolutely.
You could imagine.
Yes.
Well, we can do that in a real world scenario. We would have a Z, X, and a Y. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Z-axis is depth of field.
You think so?
Seriously?
No, I think.
If you're stuck in
your Z is your vertical, isn't it?
Yeah, Z can be your vertical, Y, and X.
No. Okay.
Go on,
so,
have an argument. Come on, have an argument, guys.
Just like a 3D printer.
Let me get onto quadratics here. Okay. You'll have X and Y. All right, that's your two dimensions. Right.
Well done.
X will be your horizontal, Y will be your vertical. The moment you throw in the Z, you've got to work in 3 dimensions.
Yeah, Z's vertical though, isn't it? As soon as you throw in Z.
No, it doesn't have to be. I mean, traditionally,
Z is actually horizontal at 90 degrees from X.
It doesn't matter. Yes. It doesn't matter. But have a look at that.
It does for Euclidean.
What?
It does for Euclidean.
Yeah, but that. All right, okay, but that axis.
Yeah, all right, okay.
That axis wouldn't wander, would it? That's a fixed axis, isn't it?
Z has to be 90 from both X and Y.
Yeah, and then when you move, does Z move with you?
No,
does it stay above your head?
How does Z move when it comes out from your fucking feet?
So
you don't understand Euclidean geometry,
mate. Of course I understand Euclidean geometry. Of course I do. You're talking about Z-axis. I'm asking you, does it move with you?
I guess so.
Which frame of reference is the Z in?
Yeah, so you're always at the 0 intersection between Z, X, and Y. Always.
No, you're not.
Well, it depends. Oh. Depending on
so you can move along the axis, then, can you?
And what if you're outside of that frame of reference?
You're being pretty vague.
I'm being pretty vague.
I could be talking to my friend on top of the mountain.
We're still just trying to talk about what a vertical and a horizontal
are. His X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, let's imagine. I put a horizontal down and a vertical. Now, if I walk along that horizontal...
So you're only in 2 dimensions, right?
No.
You are, because all you've got is your horizontal and your vertical.
Okay,
I'm 2 dimensions.
I'm on a canal. I'm on a boat on a canal.
I don't care what you're on.
Well, I'm in 3D. I'm in 3 dimensions, aren't I?
Yeah, so which way is your Z?
Z is up and down, isn't it? That's the Z-axis, the vertical axis.
All right.
No, it's not.
Where would you draw your origin point on this image?
God, which one? Which image are we talking about now? Because you're just trying to confuse everyone.
The meme you posted.
Which meme?
Where's your origin point?
Let's have a look. 50's done one. Are you looking at that? Can you see the one that 50's done?
Hold on.
Bev.
Right,
oh,
so
50, like the...
Yeah, he's
So
doing
he's
the plumb
showing
lines,
me-
mate.
yeah. So there's a guy at the top there, and he's dropped a vertical, and he's a horizontal, and he's standing on that straight line, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the tangent, mate.
What? That's a horizontal, isn't it?
No, that's the tangent line, you twit.
No, that's a
It's the line that
horizontal. 'Cause
intersects-
there's a
the
guy
line that
stood on
intersects
it,
the
isn't
curve.
it?
Tangent.
It's a line perpendicular to a plumb.
Right. So if he walks along that horizontal, eventually he'll meet that. One of the verticals that one of the other guys
Look
have.
at the other two. Yeah, look at the other two.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, but when
You've got more than
he
one
walks
tangent,
when he
mate.
walks along that horizontal and meets that other vertical, it's not perpendicular to it, is it?
Tangent.
No,
shit, that's
because
how
it's on a
ball works.
sphere. It's on a sphere.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to point out to you that that's a pretty big problem within Euclidean geometry.
Only for flat
Do you
Earth.
not
Why?
understand why that is
It's
a problem?
not-
No.
It's
You
not
don't
a problem.
understand why it's
not
a problem.
problem.
It's not a problem.
The problem for you
Yeah,
is
sphere,
No.
retard.
it proves flat Earth every time you test it.
Yeah.
It's what?
Bev.
Problem for you.
Bev, just so you know, those plumb lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on. Bev, those plumb lines and those tangents are technically Euclidean measurements.
How? Where did you get the ball from?
No, I'm not talking
Do
about
balls
the
exist?
curve. Yeah, I'm not talking about the curve. I'm talking about the plumb lines and the tangents.
Yeah.
They're Euclidean measurements.
But I'm imagining that guy at the top there. He's sat on a canal, and that water level is horizontal. So whenever he drops
You're
any
imagining
vertical,
You're imagining that, Bev, because that's your fantasy dream world, but you haven't tested it, have you?
what the
You're just
water
imagining it.
level
You're
is
just
horizontal.
imagining. Yeah, you're just imagining water
No,
level. horizontal.
water level is not horizontal.
It
It's
might be, but
not.
Bev hasn't tested it, has he?
Do we know? Do we know the rate of curvature in the water level then?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
why you do the test, Bev. That's the fucking thing
What's
you're
your
talking
measured?
about now.
What's your measured curvature in the water level, guys?
You know the math of the
It's a-
globe, dude. If you don't, you
it's
should.
a-
You
it's-
should.
Measured?
It's the
Not
same.
calculated. Measured.
Same
It's
thing,
the,
dude.
it's the same. It's the same as on
What, a
land.
calculation
except
isn't
for the-
isn't a measurement.
That's basically the same thing. Call it what you want.
So if I take 6 meters and add 2 meters, I get 8 meters, and it's still a fucking measurement.
How did you?
But I did it
did you measure
mathematically.
them 6 meters, or did you just conjure them up in your
If you
head?
measure something, then you calculate it, Bev. That's what it is.
No. You measure
Yes.
things with rulers.
Yes,
That's
and
not
that's
much of a
called
calculation. That's look.
Yeah, but if
measure.
you've only got a 1 foot ruler and the thing you're measuring 6 feet, you're going to have to measure it 6 times.
Yeah, just get a bigger ruler, mate.
Let me ask you this: do you believe in Euclidean geometry?
Do I believe in Euclidean?
in
There's no
geometry?
need for me to
geometry?
believe in
no,
Euclidean
you can't say
geometry
that.
Okay.
You're
because
asking him to
it
make a
has
faith statement.
axioms and proofs
Does
within
do
it.
those axioms
I've
work?
proved
Do those
Euclidean geometry.
Do those? Okay, so you're saying they do work? Okay,
Absolutely,
So now, when you go out
it's
and take
perfect.
measurements, when you shut up. When you go out to the real world and you take measurements like he described,
Yeah, like
and you
surveys
find
do.
out that the plumb lines are not parallel, what does that imply?
It would imply that whoever made Euclidean geometry made a massive mistake.
Or
Whoever made
Or
Euclid-
they're
Euclid
not
made
actually
Euclid
measuring non-parallel plumb lines. Have you thought of that?
You don't understand what Euclid did then, do you?
I mean, let's stop. I mean, I think you just said it there. You're measuring non-parallel plumb lines.
Who's measuring
And
non-parallel?
why would they
That's
be
your guy.
non-parallel?
Yeah. The main surveyor said he's done it.
God.
Yeah.
He measured correctly,
Yeah, he
and I
says
agree
he's
with
done
you.
Now you're crying about it.
I'm not crying about it.
You are.
I'm letting you guys know that
All right,
you've got
so,
somebody who
How
can do
hard
this shit.
with measurements of
There's
curved
no
water.
need for you guys to just
By
keep saying
misunderstanding it on
you can
purpose.
do it without
Don't need you to
knowing
sing.
how it's
Guys,
done.
Bev.
clusterfuck here. Calm it down.
Yeah,
Don't need you to
cluster.
say.
Well, Bev is a clusterfuck.
All right, so we're going down this road. So they're non-parallel plumb lines, Now, what can we infer from that?
You're stating that they are non-parallel plumb lines, are you?
Okay, well, I'm going to measure them. I found the location to do it. Now I got to find somebody to help me.
Do you see the picture I put in there?
8-inch drop.
Should I do it again?
Get through it, babe.
Copy link. I'll post it again.
Babe, you got to let
on the
Morning
test
get
bed,
to
you'll
the
be able to find out how parallel they are, wouldn't you?
Look. You see, I've got 3 plumb bobs there.
That's not a water level. That's
what's the water level at either side of it? Can you not see?
No, that's not a water level.
Yeah, of course it is. Do you not know what a water level is?
Okay, I see 1 meter. 1 meter. So you've established a horizontal.
This can't be real. You can't be real, Dave.
No, it's not.
What do you mean I can't be real? What are you talking about? You're talking about that?
You can't. Dumb.
What?
How is that measuring a curve?
No.
How's that measuring anything?
Who said it's measuring anything? It's a lesson for
close
you guys.
What's it for then? What's it for?
Do you want to give us a second?
Just straight lines, vertical
wanna-
lines and horizontal lines. Is that all you're trying to show us here, mate?
Do you want to give us a second
to
to explain all
I
that?
thought it was fishing hooks.
Hold on. No. He's saying that it's obviously flat because over this.
Do you want me to actually say what I'm saying, or do you want to just tell everyone what I'm saying?
Shut the fuck up while somebody else is in the middle.
While somebody explains what I'm going to say when I'm not saying it. I'm not getting a chance to say it. Let somebody else tell you what I'm saying. All right?
Shut up. Somebody was speaking. Let him finish, Bev.
But he was speaking for Bev, man. Bev is right, you know.
I was. I will concede it. I will concede it to Bev. Bev, you explain exactly what you were doing here, because this obviously looks like your little experiment there. So go ahead and explain exactly what you're doing here.
It's not an experiment. In the picture, there are 3 plumb bobs hanging. To the left and to the right, there is a water level. There is a tube with water in it. So the water level between them 2 tubes is a horizontal plane. That's what it's defined as. So across that horizontal plane, in between them 2 lines, there are 3 plumb bobs falling into it. I'd say all 3 of them are perpendicular to that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
To what precision? And what is the distance of your range of your test setup?
There's no measurement there. So I want to know exactly how far in between the water levels it is.
Well,
you eyeballing this, Bev?
Okay, can I just finish? The water...
No, actually, I kind of need clarification on those points.
The water level establishes a horizontal plane.
Sure.
Do you agree with that or not?
To a certain precision, yes.
What do you mean to a certain precision?
That it's only precise enough to, like, if you try to use a 3-foot water level to measure 100 miles, it will be crooked.
Well, what if I used a 100-mile tube and then put the thing on the end of it? Would that water level be horizontal?
Mostly, except for possibly air pressure problems and stuff like that.
As long as it's just got water in the tube, would you say that water level at 100 miles long would be horizontal?
How about you sighted 2 theodolites 100 miles apart or meters apart, whatever you need to do?
How about a water level tube, like I've just said, 100 miles long, and you put these 2 vials on either end of it? How about that? But anyway, let's just talk about this picture and what the definition says. So definition 10, when a straight line along where you can read it, it just means that a line that is perpendicular to another line has 90 degrees around it. Right? And then another one, that's definition 10 within Euclidean geometry. And then one of the axioms is that all right angles are equal to one another.
Yes, 90 degrees.
Okay, so if you have a horizontal and you drop verticals onto that horizontal, then they have to be perpendicular, don't they? Within the geometry. Would you agree with that at least?
Yes.
Yeah. So within Euclidean geometry, them verticals, by the fact that they have to be perpendicular to the horizontal, cannot diverge, can they?
Only if it's flat.
Flat.
Okay, right. So, but within Euclidean geometry, that is what it states. So, are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
You
So,
just said
okay. So now all we have to find out is which geometry do you think surveyors use when they measure things?
It's an if flat.
It doesn't matter.
No. It doesn't matter. They don't worry about what shape the land is because they measure the land.
Geometry on a fucking curve, on a circle.
So
a circle is Euclidean geometry. Stop this silly game.
But is a vertical still
are you
perpendicular
insane?
to a horizontal? I'm not insane. No, I'm perfectly lucid. Thanks, mate.
I asked you a question.
No, Curve. It's a ridiculous question, Curve. What I want to know is what is the distance between?
Actually, fuck you.
What is?
Talk.
No, but it is ridiculous.
It is a ridiculous question.
Let Curve.
No, it's not.
I just wanted to know one answer. Like, what is the distance?
Let Curve talk.
Is this over a meter? Or is it a meter or what?
Ninja.
Like
Ninja, hang on for a sec, mate. Ninja, hang on for a sec, please.
All right.
Hey, wait a minute, Chemo. Fuck you. I'm not starting anything. Yeah, nobody's forcing me, and I'm not forcing anybody. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Ooh. Oh, damn.
Carry on. Bev isn't going to answer the question.
Damn. What was that? What was the question again?
Are you
insane? It's a ridiculous question.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. That was something else I was wanted to ask as well. Like, Fight the Flat Earth wants to debate people, but he doesn't want to debate people on a. He wants a neutral platform.
Did you hear Curve's question yet?
I was wondering whether we could put this place forward as a neutral platform.
No.
Fight the Flat Earth cannot come here.
He's not allowed.
Did Scott post? He's annoying.
Is he not allowed to come in here, or he just
I guess he's allowed, but he's not well. He's not well liked here. Let's put it that way.
Oh. Yeah, but could you not be a neutral host for because you would be neutral, wouldn't you? You dislike both of us just as much. Come on.
Welcome.
I can give you a platform. Biff. Fight the Flat Earth versus Biv on Terry Davies' channel.
Yeah.
You
get it going. He's running from me. He doesn't want to. He doesn't.
I'm shutting up.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask a different question or whatever? About curves?
Shut up, Scott. Let Curved ask his question.
I'm asking Curved if he wants to.
I was going to sum up Bev's silliness for him, if it's all right. On a circle or a sphere, Bev, perpendiculars won't be parallel. That's the point of the test. On a flat Earth, they will. So if you do the test, you can find out.
Perpendiculars
if you just
won't be parallel.
Listen. If you just talk about the nuance, you're never going to find out. If you do the test, then you will be able to find out.
Don, could you repeat that statement you made? Though?
Well, you know the difference.
The word perpendiculars is funky there, but
on a
really curve, they're not going to be parallel. They're not going to be parallel.
You don't really call perpendiculars, though. Then.
Yeah. What do you know? What a perpendicular is?
That's what he's called.
You call them normals to the sphere or normal to the circle.
Well, I don't care what he calls it. He knows what I mean.
Well, that's a better way.
It's not clear then.
Do you see what a straight line is?
Bev, you heard me right. If you do the test, you can find out. If you don't, you won't find out.
Do you know?
You get it?
Are you talking about perpendiculars on spherical geometry?
Yes.
Yeah. You know that's on the surface of a sphere, don't you?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. That's
so
what
it's like two curved lines meeting each other, isn't it?
But if you only do it in
Two
one
curved
axis,
Yeah.
Oh, don't go past that, please.
Spherical
Don't
geometry
go on
only
to another
occurs on the
point.
surface
Deal
of a
with what
sphere,
Bev
doesn't
just
it?
Two curved lines touching each. What are you on about?
Spherical
Well, you've never seen a
geometry
2D
is the
circle.
geometry of the surface of a sphere.
Can I use straight lines on a
telling you,
sphere?
the test will show non-parallel plumb lines if you do it.
You realise that circle
If you don't
geometry,
do it, then you're not going to know, and you're just going to be talking shit about
We
it.
might be starting doing some basic geometry lessons over on the other survey. If
Well,
you want to come, I can explain
from
it.
what I remember,
Bev, if you don't do the test, you won't find out the answer to your test.
What test?
Your test with the plumb lines to see if Earth's flat.
What?
Your test with the plumb lines to see if Earth's flat.
Who's doing that?
This is your test. If you want to find
I've not got
You're
no
the one
test
what
to
keeps
make.
bringing it up every day.
Have you heard what I say about the Earth? Like it's got lumps and bumps on it, hasn't it?
So you don't want to
Yeah, so a plumb bob wouldn't be able to prove
You're
that.
not even interested in the test.
Come on,
in the
mate.
test.
Seriously.
What do the bumps have to do with it? There's nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why plumb bobs. Dawn seems to think plumb bobs
you came in here today presenting the test again,
to the
so I'm assuming you're interested in it.
Vertical. No. That's. I was just coming in to see if you guys understood the logic, which you
he's
don't.
Of course we understand the logic.
And you don't really understand the geometry.
do.
You proved
That's
that as
what I'm
well.
telling you. If you want to understand it,
but
do the
hold on, don't
I've
lump
got
us
a
all
plate.
in together. Bev, you're just like saying everyone here, because of one person's statement, everyone here believes in the same thing. I don't think that's true.
Well, nobody's
right.
Nobody's standing up and saying, "No, wait a minute, that's wrong, guys."
I just did a minute ago when I said perpendicular is the wrong word.
We just did a little. Yeah, we did a little. Exactly. Scott said that perpendicular is not the correct word to use.
Right. Okay. Well, if I say that horizontal is the water level, or do you not agree with that?
You can't.
What about the lumps and the bumps?
Right. So the water level curves.
No,
Can you
can't
tell me
use
how?
that as your horizontal?
No.
What?
No.
You used horizontal curves. Is that what you just said?
No.
You use the curved surface as your horizontal.
No,
you didn't say that.
Well, you can, you nugget. What are you on about, you?
Right.
I said you can't use the water level as your horizontal.
Why not?
Because what's it on?
That's the tool. The water level is a tool
No,
for
no,
establishing the horizontal.
Water level on.
Wait, hold on. He has done this before, right? Previously, before I got confused when he started rabbiting on about water levels and all that sort of stuff. I was like, no, well, over right.
Well done.
As soon as you say like, oh, over a large distance, water levels do curve. He goes, no, I'm just talking about the tool. The tool, like that's
No, I'm
just what
talking. Yeah, I'm talking
about.
about the water level. Yeah.
Which level?
That's the
Which
tool.
water level?
Call it the ocean level.
Spirit
Just call it the
level.
ocean
Measure
level.
out
Spirit level.
nugget.
Which water level?
Yeah, stop saying water level. That's
Okay.
He's deliberately, you're deliberately being
Spirit
trained.
level.
Yes,
Ninja.
spirit level.
Give me 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes.
Bev, when you say water level, do you mean the tool?
Give me
or
2
the
minutes.
Ocean sea
Give
level?
me 2 minutes,
Two
and I will
minutes.
explain.
Guys, calm down. Just
Tell us
calm
which
down
water
for a
level
minute.
you mean.
Guys,
Everyone.
one at a time. It's the chaos. It is true that maybe one person can talk to
It's going to
or
share.
two.
I vote for
It's always
Kurt
about
hasn't
two
been allowed
people.
to speak.
I vote for Boyack to shut
I
the
nominate myself. Because Bev,
But I also vote for
he doesn't like the rest of you, to be honest.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead, Bev.
There's a canal near me, 27 miles long, between locks. So that's one body of water, 27 miles. Call it 15 miles from As the Crow Flies. But it goes from Liverpool to Apley Bridge across the South Lancashire coastal plain. One body of water. Now, could I put a hose pipe in that, put 2 of them vials on either end of it, and just lift it out of the water level in the canal?
Of course.
What would it show? Because the water level, the tool, is establishing a horizontal line. The water level in the canal, I would say, is a one body. It's just like a big trench of water. Also horizontal. You guys say one of them curves. Do they both curve?
You can't pre-assume it's also horizontal, dude. You can't pre-assume.
Simple answer. Each point on the sphere is level. Each point on the surface of the water is level. If you're talking about the canal with no locks, you have not changed elevations, then yeah, the 2 points, each point is going to be level. The water level will show level. Your problem is you need to show it with 3 or more points separated by enough distance to be significant enough to show that all of the points of your levels above the surface of the water are planar flat.
Yeah. Have you seen
that you cannot do?
Have you seen my water level test? I call it the infinite water level. It's about to, well, there you go.
That's a drawing,
yep.
Bev.
Yeah. Can you see the water levels?
Bev, I'll ask you again. Are you insane?
Can you see the colour
Bev,
within
did you hear what he said, though?
the water? Can you see? Because I know he's suggesting that there is a rise in the middle, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Why do a test when you can
my water level test will establish whether that rise is there or not.
You just want to write P and Q.
Hello. I put the water level
that's
test.
a
I built it in
perfect
Godot.
modus, isn't it?
This is the. I show you in other picture. There's this.
Show me a picture.
Here, gets gravity and he changed everything.
How is you drawing colours and lines on a fucking whiteboard a test?
It's not a test. I've never said it's a test.
I've no idea what
it helps you understand geometry, doesn't it?
So I put gravity on this white sphere, and you can see the water is not level anymore.
Pardon?
Looking to my picture in the shed, there is
water is not level.
A big water level on this big white ellipse here.
What's
and
that?
there's water inside this
bit at the top. What's that?
Oh yeah, can you explain this a little bit better?
I try to explain it.
Go on.
Okay.
This white sphere, a white elliptic thing, has gravity, a force.
What, the big white bit at the bottom?
Yes, the big
elliptic thing. The elliptic.
Okay.
And in this green one, this green thing on top of it, there is water. This blue dots is water.
Okay, got it.
And this white thing has a force. It's a attracting force.
Okay.
And it works on the water like gravity. Okay. And if looking on the first picture, every the water is in the it's lying on the ground, and in the second picture, the water is in the middle, is lying on the ground, and on the side, it goes to the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is how it works even on the Earth. If
so
you build the water spirit level this big, if you build a spirit level this big with a lot of small water levels on it, you get this result.
Why is it a straight line on? I'm really struggling to understand why you've got like a horizontal bit at the top and then you've got gravity underneath it.
So is this because it's
that if you lay a spirit level, a big spirit level, very big spirit level, with very small spirit levels. I had a big one, like a.
What sort of scale are we talking about along that line at the top?
And you get this result.
What sort of line are we talking? How long is that bit at the top?
Make it like 10 kilometers of this.
So that's like, it looks like a straight line to me. Is that how it's intended to be? So 10 kilometers.
It's a 10-kilometer long spirit level with multiple bubbles in it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a straight line.
Yeah, it's a tool. The tool made a straight line.
Yeah, it's a straight level, and you're showing how the bubbles would be not in the center of each of their little windows.
Okay, so if you went to the end of that line, it wouldn't show that line was level. So, like, I'm just trying to imagine this.
In the middle is it level?
Are you
On
trying
the side it gets less level.
No, you level it in the middle. Sorry, Lishwing. You go.
Yeah, go on. Explain it to him.
You get the middle one level, and you'll find that the others won't be showing.
So it's
level,
either not a straight line.
The
then.
10-kilometer long.
It's not a straight line then, or
it's a straight line.
It is a straight line.
Well, it's not level.
It's a
then.
straight
Look
tool.
at what Rupert posted.
Oh, Matt, why don't you
It explains it
No, it's the gravity is throwing off the bubbles as you get further away
from the center of
so,
the thing causing the gravity.
Yeah, so that's horizontal then. Horizontal shift, is that what you're saying?
Why you always stick to this horizontal?
Because that's how...
Horizontal is the old word. If you're looking to the horizon,
it's
it
how
looks
people
like it is a
still
line.
use it. People
But it is
in
not
the industry, in surveying, they use the word level and as horizontal. That's what it is. It's horizontal plane.
Yes, on short distance.
No.
Whatever, mate.
No.
Whatever. You can see the effect.
But they're not synonymous. Horizontal and level are not synonymous with each other.
Somebody read the survey handbook to you yesterday and showed you that it doesn't say that.
So I've got a level here, like an actual surveyor's level. Are you telling me it doesn't establish a horizontal?
It's a 10 kilometers long with multiple bubbles.
Right. So at what point does a horizontal stop being horizontal then? Because in Euclidean geometry, you can...
When it's not level anymore.
When it's no longer horizontal, of course.
Didn't they read the definition to you yesterday?
So do we want to go back to the Euclidean geometry, the axioms and the postulates?
Sure. This is a physics program. You can do it yourself.
No, you're not that exact. You're not bothered about that. You like to...
Well, what do you think is the issue with Euclidean geometry? What do you think the issue is?
Yes, I kind of understand what's going on here. Bev thinks that because if you strict, like, the reality must shape itself to Euclidean geometry as he understands it. That's what's going on here.
I don't understand what do you think is telling about the Euclidean geometry? What is your point?
It says there that a terminated straight line may be produced to any length in a straight line.
Okay.
Yeah, but do you know
So that means every horizontal keeps going, and then the other one.
It terminates.
What?
Yeah, it terminated.
You can produce a terminated line at any length. That's what you just said.
Yeah,
look. Make a length.
No,
you can make a line.
Listen, one is that a straight line may be drawn from any one point to another point.
Yeah.
So that's a straight line. And then it says that a terminated straight line may be produced to any length in a straight line.
Cool.
So that means that any straight line you draw doesn't have to stop. It can be gone on and on and on.
A straight line can be infinitely long. That's true.
Yeah,
that's not really that
boring.
Yeah, this is really bad for you guys because this.
Why?
How? I don't understand why it's so bad.
Hold on, just one
bad at all.
One at a time. What is the point? What is the point, Bev?
When a straight line standing on another straight line makes an adjacent angles equal to one another, each of the angles is called a right angle, and the straight line which stands upon the other is called a perpendicular to it.
Great. Okay, so
not when they don't.
So when
what is the point? Is
when you draw a horizontal line and then draw a vertical on it, and then go a little bit further and draw another vertical, and a bit further, draw another vertical. They are all perpendicular to it.
Hold on, let me finish. Yeah, you're right. Hold on, Travis. Let me just finish this up. You're right. That's true. So what?
Well, imagine the canal is a horizontal plane.
Yeah, well, if you define it as such, it'll follow that rule.
My fantasy's
if you're defining it as such.
And I'll keep talking.
Hold on, Dad. Just hold on, Dad. Just give me a second to finish. So you're defining it a priori as horizontal, which is, of course, the question we're trying to answer. If you have a horizontal line and you have three perpendicular lines attached to it, yeah, they're all going to have 90-degree angles. Great, big deal.
They'll all be vertical, won't they?
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
So whether that applies to the Earth, the surface of the Earth, or a canal, that's an open question. You can't just define it as applying and then decide that it means something.
Okay.
But that's what I find funny.
Right?
Earlier I said you can make a circle using Euclidean frickin' geometry, and I found it.
Yeah, it's there. It's number 3 in the postulates.
Yeah, and all you have to do is add the z-axis, and you make a bloody sphere.
Okay. So
The later books of Euclidean geometry do go into 3D shape. So yeah.
Do you see the point I'm making, though, that you can't just assign the canal to be horizontal a priori?
See, I'm not doing that, am I? Like, that's surveyors do that, don't they?
That's
your
surveying standard.
Hold on. You just said if I have a canal that's horizontal, which is you making the canal horizontal.
Yeah, that's water level, dude.
I'm
I'm not Mr. Super Guy that's coming along and going, hey guys, did you guys...
But hang on. That water's manipulated. It's got 2 locks.
Yeah.
What you need to do...
It's got a...
you need locks to alter... Don't you? To alter heights, because the horizontals don't intersect.
What you really need to do is to test whether or not it's horizontal. The way you would do that is you would drop plumbs to 3 different spots, then you would check the relative
make
angle
canals go further. You wouldn't need
to check the angle. Let me finish, Bev.
I make a water level.
Let me finish, Bev.
I make water level
Let me finish,
around my
please. Let's wait.
Guys.
Let me finish. Jesus Christ.
I make water level around the sphere.
Lishwick. Do you want to go? Why don't you go ahead, Lishwick?
I put water around this. I make out on the elliptic thing. I make a sphere, and you can see the water is level around it.
Super informative. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's level.
Good job.
No, that got shut down by Mick West. I think Sean Huff had tried that with Mick West, and he shut that down. So
all right,
now
Scott,
that
are
won't
you
work.
done?
I wasn't done. Go ahead, Mark.
This is dumb. This is so fucking dumb.
Well, it is dumb because, it's dumb. There's just too many people in here. There's too much over talking. It's just nonsense.
He hasn't tested it.
Anyway.
He hasn't tested it. So.
Yeah, there was a regular old conversation, and then Bev wanted to slip one in.
I was wanting to ask about that logic, but I got that done. And then you guys wanted to get onto the geometry bit, didn't you?
The logic says...
You give me a chance to give you a lesson.
You can test to see how flat the water is.
I'm getting a lesson, but I can't get it for advice.
Logic says test it and you can find out how flat the water is. That's the logic of the meme. Why don't you do it?
Right.
It's been done for thousands of years. People have known that water level's horizontal.
No,
that's not correct.
No, just no.
Yeah, it is. It seems like you people have just forgotten about it.
Experimenting to that. Just show us an example of somebody discovering that through empirical methods.
You know how they made the canal?
How do they make the canal?
Well, how do you think they plotted it?
They put a stick in it.
Yeah. And then...
So what do you think that means?
What? Well, it's horizontal, isn't it? And then you need a lock system.
You don't know about it because you haven't measured it. You don't know it's horizontal.
I don't know that.
No, you don't. You haven't done your own test.
No. Have you done it? Have you done your test?
I trust it's not horizontal. I trust.
What you need to do, Bev, is you need to drop some lines in actual reality that are plumb and then measure the relative angles. If they're all 90 degrees to each other, or they're all parallel to each other, good to go. You're right. It's flat. If they're not, then you got a problem.
Yeah. So you know then, like, are plumb lines parallel? What is the divergent angle, and what is the curvature? The drop of the horizontal.
It depends. It depends on how far away they are from each other.
Yeah, well, if you give us the numbers, we can work it out.
Example, isn't it?
Oh my
God! Just pick your distance.
Well, does Bev know about?
Give him the numbers.
Do you want to? Should we get on? Should we get on to the main surveyor? Should we get him to do it? We'll go over his video. All right. Do you want to go over it, and I'll work the maths?
I want you to go and do the test and prove.
No. Your guy's already done it.
Prove the canal is horizontal, dude, or else I don't believe you.
Guy has already done it, apparently.
Bullshit.
The main surveyor.
Oh, that means the main surveyor. Who's that?
I don't know who that is.
You don't even know who the main surveyor is.
Mick
He's
West
saying
was the
Maine
guy.
is in the location.
I have no idea who that is. Who is it?
He's citing Mick West's observation where perpendicular lines are not plumb.
Who's the main surveyor? Who's the main surveyor?
He's the guy
There's
who
a place called. There's a
drafted the
place called
graphic.
Maine.
I don't know.
You know,
Does he have a name?
The
there's a
main
place called
surveyor.
Hold on,
Yeah, I'm
hold
not
on,
sure.
Biv.
Never heard of
They
him.
talk about Maine as in the location, not Maine as in MAIN. Maine surveyor.
You guys have Jesse
heard of him.
Kozlowski, you have George, and the main
There he
surveyor.
is, Scott.
2,500 years of science.
There he is, Scott. I've given you his channel.
I see it. I see it. Cool.
Oh,
so
it's a person. It's a
goodness.
person.
Yeah.
It's a person. I didn't know
It's
that.
a real person.
Yeah, okay.
That's
so
why you should stay out of it.
Yeah, where
So what about him?
this drawing originally comes from, right? It's from many volumes of the surveying handbook.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which talks about these plumb lines, okay?
And he's
Now,
measured it though,
have
hasn't
you read that book? No, hang on. Have you read the book?
I've got the Geological Survey of the UK. 1835
So then no.
to 1955.
So you
What year is
don't
it?
have the surveyor's handbook.
With the what? The Surveyor's Handbook.
It's
Yeah, so
2020, Biv.
I don't know. I do not have the Surveyor's Handbook now.
Yeah,
would
so
that
from
make
all
a difference?
Well,
Maybe.
let me explain something. Okay, so from all the people that have done everything from geodetic survey to seismic surveys to water depth surveys, any survey that has to do with the shape or the mapping of the planet.
What about
have
what about land surveyors? For like buildings and roads and stuff like that. What about them?
That's all right. I won't finish talking.
No, I was just like, you seem to miss out a certain group of surveyors then when you were talking about.
I was about to get into the civil
end,
engineers.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Civil engineers,
Make it quick, mate.
and their surveyors have all added into this handbook over the last couple of centuries.
Okay.
All the maths, all the information on how to do the measurements is in that book.
Okay.
All right, what's the next topic?
Give us a link.
They're going to link you to a book that is only
the front
given to
door.
surveyors and stuff.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm sure it's in Amazon.
You must be able to get it somehow, wouldn't you?
Well, off you go.
called?
And go
No,
have
I'm
a look.
asking you. You've just.
What's it
mentioned
called? What's it called, Davros? What's the book called?
It would be the surveyor's handbook.
Okay, hold on. I'll find it later. You guys can get to it.
By who? By the last 200 years of
surveyors.
It would be a collection of works.
Currently
I got a
being
question,
edited by
Viv.
Russell B.
collection of
Baker.
surveying works.
Do you think, Biv, that maybe the technology that surveyors use, considering, bear in mind, my friend is a surveyor.
Yep.
That the technology has advanced since 1955?
Thanks, Scott.
The technology.
What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course
What
it
do you
is.
reckon?
Yeah.
So they might have
Technology's
things
definitely.
like very expensive digital leveling lasers and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Right.
they're all
Okay.
high
So
tech.
your book is for basic kind of layman's terms now, isn't it?
I don't have a book. I just have it.
Well, the one you're talking about, the UK whatever book,
the Geological Survey.
yeah.
not
So
a
that's
book,
kind of
mate.
obsolete. It's kind of obsolete
Yeah,
now,
it's
isn't
not
it?
a book about surveying. It's more a book on how they surveyed the UK.
Right. So it's
It was
kind
a
of
picture
obsolete
with lots
now
of colours
because
and lines on
we
it.
can use new methods, can't we?
Yeah, triangulation's got a bit better. Yeah.
Right. So maybe you should focus on
I think
those
they're within about an inch now.
universal
UK,
surveying
anyway.
methods instead of pretending you understand them.
Universal
maybe look into
surveying
them.
methods. Can you ask your mate?
Universal.
Yeah, ask your mate which geometry he uses. when
Meaning
he's
you could
surveying.
use them anywhere.
Yeah. Can you
know,
ask?
not just UK specific.
Can you ask your mate what's geometry he uses when he's measuring?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll give him a call tomorrow.
Okay. What do you think?
Euclidean.
I'm not going to say the fucking word. Oh, okay. You've said it so many times. I'm going to ask him.
Right.
I love the word.
Yeah. So
Euclidean.
I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him what he uses. See if he can give me a handbook. All the rest of it.
Ask him what geometry he uses, and ask him as well. Ask him if level is horizontal.
Right. All right.
That's
I
it.
will.
That's all you need to do.
Excellent.
But surveying, if I'm not mistaken, if you're using Euclidean, the deviation from reality, like what we said with the perpendicular or two plumb lines being not parallel, is the heart and soul of what you're finding.
What? Can you say? Sorry, say that again. I might have missed that.
I know it's confusing the way I said it. You have two plumb lines established at a distance, and the deviation from parallel is the proof of the curvature of the Earth, is the actual measurement that you use.
Well, see, if you were measuring a distance from one to the other, the only vertical I think you'd be doing is looking at like a measuring stick, and then you'd just be measuring a height of the level over the distance.
That's not a vertical.
The plumb line would be established independent of that, so that would just get you a horizontal height above the datum, for the base. Then the vertical would be worked by the people that were doing the building construction at that point, and they would establish the vertical. They wouldn't be bothered about the vertical at another point, because that would already be established as perpendicular, wouldn't it? Isn't that?
Keep trying, Bill.
Well, the line between the 2 points would be a horizontal line, right?
No, it's an apparent. It's not horizontal. It's only horizontal because it's perpendicular to the plumb lines. But it's the line in between those two perpendicular points isn't horizontal. It's just a line of sight between those 2 points.
If it was a measurement, though, you'd want a horizontal measurement line, wouldn't you? You wouldn't want, because that's how you would get a measurement distance.
You want to measure
it anyway.
No, if you have two plumb lines that are tall, you're going to want to measure from the base to the top of one and base to the top of the other to get the angle difference.
The base to the top.
That's one way to do it.
Like the Golden Gate Bridge, yeah?
No. You just do a distance between the bottom, and then
that's what he said.
And you can do the top. You can do that one too. You can do base and top. Yeah.
Who would do that?
But this is.
What you want to do is you want to find what the differential is between the base distance and the top distance. You want to find out what's the degree of separation.
No, I don't want to do that. Is that what you want to do?
One does. One does. And just listen, Bev. It's obnoxious of you to interrupt to say, I don't want to do that. I mean, come on, let's be adults. So what one wants to do is find the difference between the base and the top in order to figure out, are these things diverging or are they parallel? And so you need to figure out that question. So you can either do it from the base to the top of the other one, or the base to base, top to top, and compare them any number of ways. But you just need to find out, is that distance different?
I like that. That's a good idea. When are you doing that? Who's doing it?
I guess that people,
are you lot doing it?
It's done, mate. It's done.
I'll do my water level one. Are you doing that?
People have been doing that for hundreds of years.
What, measuring?
I've got a plan for
the tops of buildings as well as the bottoms.
Well, tops of the towers, really, they build them.
Oh.
The spires on the Golden Gate Bridge are a few, 46 mil apart at the top.
Is that a suspension bridge?
Than at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a suspension.
They're plumb.
So them cables could be pulling the tops at different.
No, well, they're not. Well, if they were pulling, hold on. If they were pulling, they would be pulling towards each other, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're angled away from each other.
But actually, on that Golden Gate Bridge, the tension through the middle of the bridge is the same at each end as well. It's exactly even between the pylons.
What, on each of the cables?
In totality,
through one cable.
Yeah.
Yeah. In totality,
you seem to have got off track.
Okay,
do you have the numbers for that?
Yeah, just listen.
Yeah, you got off track because you keep interrupting with random silly questions designed to throw people off track. If you would just be calm and listen, it would be much easier.
Right, it was an engineering marvel when they did it. The position of those pylons was designed so that the cables running between the pylons had the same amount of tension on them as the cables that ran to each end of the bridge. How's that for mathematical?
Yeah, well, they had to, so there was no weakest link, right? There was no weakest cable.
Yeah, they all had to take the same pressures or the same tensions, especially with those earthquakey things they have.
And it's also
ultimately the force on that tower is downward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. But the two major parts are plumb, right? Plumb to the Earth, but there's a divergent angle between them, which is obvious when you see the bridge in that on that angle, right? Like to the looking at it. I'm not
so the horizontal shifts across the span of that bridge, does it? Measurably so.
Don't perpetuate that.
Do you just like saying that word, horizontal?
Yeah, because you've said the verticals diverge, so then the horizontals must change across the span of that bridge.
Oh, but not at the point of the perpendicular.
No, so it can be measured though, because if you put a horizontal perpendicular to each of these spans of the bridges, then there must be a point in the middle where you'd be able to measure that difference, surely.
Yeah. Here you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go to chat.
So you guys can definitely measure it then. So
have a look in the chat
brilliant,
box, mate.
yeah.
We've come full circle. Come back to chat.
So not with a water level though. We can't measure it with that, can we not?
Oh, get off your water level.
I put in the link to the Bedford experiment a while back. There we go. It's the Bedford level experiment, which is a nice straight stretch of nearly 10 kilometers of a canal, which, I mean, if you read through that Wikipedia link, then I don't know what else to say. Like, it explains itself. I don't know how you can say that water levels are level everywhere.
Probably because he heard them say levy and he thought it meant level.
Fuck off. I don't think that is true. I think he's coming from a place of sincerity. I hope, Bev, that you are sincere.
I don't think he is.
I'm struggling to
sincerely
believe
doesn't
it myself.
understand.
But the Bedford level experiment is like one of the all-time bests. Like, you know, when they
most famous.
Yeah, of course. It's the most famous, when it comes to water levels, right?
What's the observed phenomena?
Well, that's the independent variable.
Well, if you have a look at the link, you've heard of the Bedford level experiment.
I've been there. I've sat in a dinghy with a camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so you think you've disproved it?
What?
You think you disproved the experiment itself?
Disproved? What was it for? That's what I'm saying. The experiment, please state the observed natural phenomena.
The Bedford level experiment was to try and calculate the spherical nature of the Earth.
Yeah. So what was the observed natural phenomena then, please?
That the water was curved.
Okay, so curved water level.
It was actually it was the river that was curved.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's okay. So
it's actually he's right. Yes, it's level and curved.
Okay, so
at the same time.
Tell me what's the curvature of the water level, please? Is there a rate of curvature that you must know?
Well, I don't know it off by heart.
Oh,
you're asking
give us a rough figure then. Give it just roughly the curvature of the water level, please.
There you go. He didn't use over a mile.
Oh.
8 inches over a mile. Okay.
So that's
That's
that is that.
Oh yeah,
tangent, by the way.
yeah. My up put it in there.
That's a drop, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So a constant drop. So.
What do you mean constant?
Well, somebody else said before that it was sort of horizontal, didn't you?
But if you're measuring it over,
Water's not horizontal.
Water's not horizontal.
No. Water's not horizontal.
Okay, so a water level doesn't establish a horizontal plane.
Water level is not the surface.
Oh my god! No,
Ninja, hang
Kev,
up.
Oh my god!
He's going back to the tool.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said before.
The water level.
What you mean, like sea level?
Since you used them interchangeably.
I'm just thinking of this. My canal, 27-mile long stretch of canal, has a water level in it.
Yep. Not horizontal. Correct.
So I'm imagining that canal,
But
with a hose pipe in it that's the same length with the little vials at the end of it. So like it's a tool, the water level.
No.
But I'm imagining it as though it's just a canal.
You've never done it.
You can't make that simile, right? You can't say, well, if you put a hose at one section and the hose is like because inside the hose there's no air, right? And then they're level at each end. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the whole water body is horizontal.
Yeah, it's a horizontal plane. That's what a water level does. It establishes a horizontal plane. Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it does.
It just doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Industry-wide tool known for exactly
try
that.
This, Bev.
Right, the
just
tool
try this.
is fine.
Wallaby, hang on.
Can you say spirit level when you're talking about the tool?
No, I'm
please?
talking about a
Just
water level.
distinguish.
Look,
Yes,
but when you're talking about the tool, can you use the terms?
Looking at the horizontal across the top of the
Boss,
water.
you can't talk. What do you think you can talk?
Yeah, man. Right. Come on.
You gotta wait till there's at least 4 people talking, then you can jump in.
Yeah, I was trying to get to the point of
there's only 3, I suppose.
Forget your water level and use a couple of sticks, maybe 3 of them, all the same height, and plot them along a couple of miles of your lock that you've got, right? And see if those sticks are all at the same level over a couple of miles. I bet you they won't.
You bet us. How much are you going to bet?
Well,
you know, Slice Barkane's doing a water level test, don't you? Like, do you want to make that a bet? Do you want to bet that Slice Barkane can measure the curvature and my level water level test? That'd be good, wouldn't it?
What kind of bet?
Well, I don't know.
What kind of bet?
He's just said, "Do you want to bet?"
The bet. Okay, the bet.
Do you know? You don't know. Why do you not know?
If your sticks aren't the same height across 3 miles,
water level,
you stop believing flat.
So Slice Barkane's doing his water level test. Should we
answer the question?
Should we do mine and make that bet between us?
Answer the question.
Would that be nice?
Bev, is he doing it with 3 sticks the way Davros is explaining?
Twice doing it with 3 sticks.
Off on his story.
Now because the bet is around doing
this one. We can all discover our methods. You could get together with your team and Sly and sort out his test that he can measure the curvature. You can get the main surveyor in as well. You all measure yours, and I'll explain to everybody what water level is.
The main surveyor.
Can someone repeat the question? I missed that. You haven't answered it yet. What's the question you haven't answered?
I don't think there was a question. It's being proposed.
Forget your water. Take your water out the fucking equation and go to that lock. Between the locks, make a 3-mile stretch that looks as flat as you possibly can. Put 1 stick at one end. Go to 1.5 miles. Put another stick. Go to another 1.5 miles. Put another stick. Look at it through a telescope or a spotting scope or anything, and tell me that all 3 sticks of the same height are at the same level.
Yeah, I would bet on that. I would bet my life savings that they wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
You know, like the water level, the actual tool,
I love how you just say.
See, it says
spirit level, dude.
They're not interchangeable.
Water
They're
levels
It's not
have
interchangeable.
been used
Water
for
levels.
many years.
Water
level
levels.
is a lower tech.
water level.
All right, Bev. But no one's
the
you're
water
talking,
level.
You're talking because you're scared, aren't you?
The water level, the level of
You
the
don't
water,
let me talk.
right? Is that what you're talking about? The level, the
The
level of the
water level,
water.
the tool, the
Is that what
device,
you're talking about?
brackets,
Oh,
device.
no, the level of the water.
Yeah, water
How do you tell
level,
the
brackets,
difference?
device.
How do you tell the difference? How do you tell the difference?
Well, it
How
says
do you
here,
know the difference between the water level and the water level?
any device utilizing
know
the
the difference?
surface of liquid water.
But how do you know the
Any
difference? How do you know the
device.
difference?
Yeah, Bev, the point there
device?
is...
You know, like,
the
yeah,
point
a
there-
device?
Yeah.
Bev,
Canal
What
could
kind
be a
of
big
device?
device, can't it?
What kind of device?
Canal, like
What
a
kind
big
of
device. Canal.
It's
A canal?
Yeah, canal.
Canal.
Yeah.
It's conflating all of these things. It's conflating what water level with being
Does a canal have
horizontal.
water in it?
Yeah,
Does a
canal
canal
is.
have water in
Yeah,
it?
of course it does.
So, is it salt water or fresh water?
Is it a device? Does it have to be salt water? Is that stated anywhere?
Is it device
Scott?
water? Is device a kind of water?
It's the canal
Who's
of
this?
device.
Scott.
Is salt water or fresh water? This is my Bev impression. This is how you ask questions in the middle of
Yeah.
people talking.
Okay, I'll answer.
Is the device made of water?
Canals
Is the device
can't.
made of water?
Scott,
Yes.
are you going to let me answer your question? Or are you just going to keep talking? You're just going to keep talking and not answer the question?
It's super frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
You're right. I can see how it's frustrating.
Okay.
I probably should have gotten more
A
frustrated.
canal is not salt water, no, Scott. It's not.
Thank you. Okay.
Bev, is it Euclidean water or non-Euclidean?
Is it
Yeah.
brackish?
Yeah. Brilliant.
Okay. Enough laughing. Come on.
Are we going to get to the water level now then?
Until we establish whether it's brackish or not, no.
Yeah. You know the best thing about a water level.
Distance
The level of the water.
Yeah, it's like the distance it can go, whilst being highly accurate, and then there's the fact that it doesn't need a sight line. You can trust one end of it to be level when the other end is level.
It's only 2 points, Bev. You need 3.
It's a horizontal plane because it's the water level. Do you not understand
You can't
that?
demonstrate it's a plane without 3 points, Bev.
Have you seen my water level test?
I've seen it. That's why I'm making the
so
point.
That's exactly
You
what
need
it does,
3
though,
points,
isn't it?
Bev.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Bev, you need 3 points.
It's terrible when you
get
see
that?
it.
I'm trying to make this 1 point here, Bev. You need 3 points.
Yeah.
And spread sufficiently apart.
Yeah. And
Over a considerable distance to demonstrate.
Yeah, and I can do that with 3. I can do that with 3 water levels, can't I? Yeah, you've seen my test, haven't you? The way it gets laid out.
Water levels together, Bev. Two water levels together, and with the ends, at least a mile apart.
Yeah.
And then you should be able to see the difference.
Yeah.
You'll see that it's not coplanar.
Yeah.
Just the water level, your target's the same height above the water.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
So you are saying it is definitely possible.
And you're not doing it, Bev. You're not doing it. You're talking.
Should I do it?
Bev, you're talking.
Should I do it?
Should I do it?
Yes.
Should we
yes,
do
you
it?
should do it.
So
you do it.
We
3
can
points.
set it up that
Minimum
we can measure. We can measure. We can measure the curvature of the water level in the canal. Can we?
You can view it, see if it's planar or not.
Can we measure it? Is the question.
Can you measure it?
How do you want to measure it?
Oh dear.
All right, can you measure that the 3 points are the same height above the water? Of course you can. Any retard can do that, Bev.
I can show you. I can show you how a water level works, can't I?
Yep, you sure can with 2 points. Absolutely.
Okay. Right.
Now use 2 water levels, Bev.
Yeah, 3 actually.
Okay, use 3.
Yeah, and then the one from the outside.
About it. Quit drawing your fucking pictures and do it.
I have. I've done the concept. Have you not seen that?
You have not done this.
Yes, I have. I've got
You have
3
not
water
done
levels.
this.
Colors.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Did you not know?
You're going to keep saying you've done it.
I have.
Go ahead and present.
I've done the concept.
What you claim you've done.
I've done the
So we
concept.
can show you that no,
done the
you
concept.
have not
That's what he's
actually
saying
done that.
He's done the concept.
Yes.
36 inches.
Done it. He's done the concept of it.
The drawing.
What are we doing with it? It's just so What's such a waste of time?
Is that what he replied with,
Listen.
Scott? That he's done the concept, the drawing?
Yeah, he switched to. He started adding in the word concept after a while.
Yep. Right.
Bev, like, why? Why can't you just talk normal? So that it's like, why you have to do that kind of stuff where it's just like pure semantics?
What I'm doing is trying you guys to understand. Do you know how a water level works? Do you know what it means?
I've done it.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Like, that's not teaching us anything. They're just being obnoxious.
Yeah, but you're just being. You don't want to be taught, do you? You don't think you can be taught.
If you had to teach,
your
I would
problem,
be all
isn't
ears
it?
if you would just teach it.
You know already.
That's bullshit,
but
mate.
you don't teach
That's
it.
bullshit, Bev.
But you don't do it.
Do you know
I would love
what
to be
you
taught.
even know?
No, I don't know what I even know.
Thank you.
I can do my best. I can have approximate, guesses. I can have confidence about certain things and less confidence about others. But nobody knows what they really know. First thing I think you have to recognize is that you don't know everything. You don't know the vast majority of things you don't know. It's very complicated and real. If you're going to be realistic about it, it's very complicated. Yeah. But if you are teaching us something, then why don't you just teach it instead of play word games with us?
I'm not trying to play word games with you. You're the guys that just can't hear what I'm trying to teach us.
Come on, teach us what you know.
Okay.
Now, go.
Brilliant.
You got 5 minutes.
Do you know what?
You got a minute.
You guys know a straight line. It is free from curvature. Has to be. You get a vertical, which is a plumb bob. That is perpendicular to a horizontal. The horizontal is the water level. That is what establishes your whole knowledge of horizontal, is the water level. So a water level being horizontal, quite simply, destroys your ball. You guys don't like it, and you have no evidence of the curvature of the water level.
Sure
you do not. Stop saying you do, Scott.
So geodetic surveying gives us evidence of the curvature of the surface of the Earth.
Present that evidence. Don't just claim they do it. Present it, please.
It has been presented many times.
By who? Whom?
Everybody.
When?
You've never seen.
So you don't know it though, do you? That you.
I do.
It's
I
not,
have it.
It's not been presented enough times.
I have it.
Am I going to be allowed to be finished with this or not?
So have you never seen it?
Oh man, it's horizontals or all verticals or all horizontals, Bev.
So you've never seen the geodetic surveying, is that the case?
Have I never seen the geodetic surveyings?
You have to repeat every question.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense, and he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Have you never
have
seen?
Made no sense, and we've not repeated you.
Yeah. Well, if you can get a geodetic surveyor to answer the question to you, which geometry he uses.
How is that an answer to my question? Have you seen geodetic surveying results or not?
Yes, I have.
So why was it an absurd question if you've seen it?
If I've seen a plot of coordinates. Have I seen coordinates on a computer screen?
You said yes a second ago. Is that what you were thinking of?
Is that what geodetic surveying results are to you, Scott?
They can take a lot of different forms. They can take many different forms. I don't know exactly what you saw.
Is there an interpretive dance form
did you
of
see
geodetic surveying results?
There may be a semaphore code, but not a dance, I don't think. There is a semaphore code, I think. So when you saw these coordinates on a computer screen, were they the results of geodetic surveying?
Were the results from plotting plots from a device? Yeah. The ones I saw particularly was a guy, he put a thing on the top of his car and drove up and down a bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen triangulation results?
The triangulation
results, yeah. The one when they build the Bixby towers.
You know, what sort of triangles would they be?
Well, they're just big triangles they put on the land. They build the towers, and they measure the distance between the tower tops and bottoms and all that.
Yeah. Euclidean triangles.
Yes, the Euclidean triangles. Have you seen these results?
Yeah. So that would be geodetic surveyors using Euclidean geometry, then, would it?
Have you seen the results of triangulation or no?
I've seen, yeah. Like I said, of geodetic surveying, the Geological Survey of the UK did triangulation of the UK.
Okay. And did you see the results?
Did I see the results? It like a load of numbers, like distances.
Did you look at them?
Yeah,
did you see
straight line distances, yeah, and angles, measured Euclidean triangles, yes. I saw all of them. Every result that's ever been published, right, in a string of numbers, I can imagine them numbers being produced, yeah.
So what was your conclusion based on that?
What was my conclusion? Based on the results of the geodetic surveying, was that they don't really measure anything like in a standard sense that you'd imagine.
In a standard sense?
Yeah.
That you imagine?
Yeah, well, the guy that I saw, like I said, he strapped something to the top of his car.
The guy that you saw strapped something to the top of his car?
Yeah, and then drove up and down a bridge.
Drove up and down a bridge?
Up and down a bridge?
Yeah.
So here's. I'm
do you want to see the results he came up with? I think I've.
Do I want to see the results again?
His geodetic surveying results.
Yeah, I'd love to see him show to me. In the meantime, I'm going to send you some stuff.
I'm cracking up over here, man.
All right, I'm done. By the way, anyone jump in? It's fine with me.
I'm starting to see the validity in Curve's original question to Bev.
Which was that?
What was it? I forget. Oh, are you insane?
Are you insane? Are you insane?
With an obvious answer.
Fucking hell, Bev.
Look, this is it.
I mean, all you've proven.
See, look at that.
Is that you don't understand the method, and the bias you have is that it has to be over water.
Well, look.
But here's the problem. You've got
you should be able to just ask him to put a line from the start of the bridge to the end.
Curving Earth. You've got a perfectly curving Earth, and then when you get to the water, you want to make that all level and all the rest of it. It's been a pretty strange-looking flat Earth, don't you think?
Do you not think the water's level then?
No.
No, you don't think the water's level.
No, I think when we look at long distance observations of something, say like a mountain, over the water, at a known distance to a mountain peak and a known observer height, we can clearly see that two things are coming into play.
Yeah.
The water and the Earth is curving.
All right. So is the sea level then?
For fuck's sake, tomato.
In
it's still
increments,
red and juicy.
In increments, it would be level, but because of gravity, using a spirit level, it's gonna be level at each point. That's how it works. Just like level flight is a curved flight path. That doesn't make sense.
Is that why you think of spirit levels, little tiny bits? Is that how you have to imagine it in order to get that level to curve?
What I'm saying is that in increments, you move a spirit level across the face of a water, it's going to be perpendicular to the pull of gravity every time, isn't it?
Is that your problem though? The fact that level's a straight line, but you've got to imagine it curves, or
level's not a straight line, and
level's not a straight line. That's not what I said.
As a curved line, level is a curved line in surveying definitions.
You can not in any other definition. Have you ever looked at the adjectives of level?
Bev, I gave you the definitions. You rejected them because you don't live in that country. You failed to supply the definitions that back up your view from your country. Until you do so, you're dismissed. You're a joke.
Right. So, level is a noun or an adjective?
Here's
Not
a question.
Playing the game, Bev.
Here's a question for you, Bev. Could I draw a vertical line straight down from any point I am across the water anywhere on the Earth?
You could drop a plumb line anywhere.
Could I draw a straight vertical line straight down from where I am?
Plumb bob, yeah.
Right?
You could, you hold the plumb bob. Get one.
Right. So, because I will be using a spirit level and using a straight plumb bob line straight down to wherever I was.
Yep.
If I was to use a spirit level, due to what we understand about the constant of gravity, it's always going to show that
fictitious force. That one.
It's always going to show that point is level. Could I draw another plumb bob line straight, maybe a meter away from where I was on that fleece of the water?
Yeah.
So the same thing is going to happen again.
Yeah, put the picture up before. I've done it. It's on my board
But
beside of me.
But here's the thing. Your board is too short. The distance between
about a
each
meter.
plumb bob. That's tiny.
That's what you just said.
Yeah, but I'm just asking you whether I could.
You got to have a bigger point here, sheep. We'll make it.
All right. The point is that your original meme that you posted about P and Q is basically the same thing as that you're trying to explain across the water, but you want to believe because it's level at one point and level at the other, that therefore it's just flat. But if you actually did this observation in an actual distance, a significant distance, you'll see that the plumb bob lines are not level to each other.
The plumb
but
bobs
the line
wouldn't be level to each other.
The line in which the plumb bob is going down is going to differ at the further apart you put them.
The verticals will still be vertical, won't they?
They'll be vertical to where they are, but not across.
Not to each other.
Not to each other.
If they're on the same horizontal, though.
No, the horizontal's only created perpendicular at the plumb bob line itself.
Oh,
but
so
the angle.
Do you think
from...
the horizontal curves? You don't think that, do you?
No.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Using two observation points across, the line of sight line is created because you have 2 points in which you put the perpendicular horizontal lines at each plumb bob line. That's the line you measure the angle of. The plumb bob line to the line of sight line.
Yeah, but that's what a water
be
level.
Over 90
the
degrees.
tool does. It puts your eye level at both ends. That's what a water level does.
Yes, but it doesn't decide that angle until you have another point of reference. The meme explained this simply in 2D, and you're moving away from this, claiming that it's because it's level rate relative to that plumb bob line.
Yeah. Not plumb bob
but
line,
not
level
across
to the water level.
Of observation is what you don't seem to gather. And you're just drawing little diagrams. Oh, look, it's level here and level there. That's not a test.
I'm just imagining
That's not a test.
a water
and I'd love
tube.
to see you. Finally, I'd love to see you move around 100-mile long piece of pipe.
Well, the Suez Canal is sort of.
No. You're talking about using a 100-mile long.
What?
100-mile long, like it's just a measly 100 miles piece of pipe.
Yeah. Water
you
level.
need a couple of cranes.
Yeah, but the Suez Canal would demonstrate that. I don't need to have a.
And what type of equipment do you think built the Suez Canal?
I don't know. It's water level, though, isn't it? This is the point.
At every individual point, it has its own level. Yes.
Okay, so if you imagine a point at one end of it.
Now, Bev, I'm not sure you understood what that meant.
Yeah.
There's a level at each point of tangency across the canal.
There's a clarifier coming that should be quite easy. Yeah?
I just gave you the clarifier. At every single point, there is a tangency at which there's level on the canal.
So the water level.
Between 2 points, that is at each individual point, there is water level. Do you hear that? Do you understand that?
I understand that the water level, if it's on the canal, is the same level all the way across, yes.
Okay, then you're not understanding what I said. No.
Did you say something different than the water level being?
I said at each individual point, the water will be level. At each point is its own tangency in relation. So there may be differences between 2 points or 3 points. The entire thing is not level 100% all the way across in relation to every other point on it.
Okay, so would there be uphill bits and downhill bits then?
If you got that out of what I'm saying, then you're not understanding what I said. Uphill and downhill are a matter of elevation.
Yeah. And what's level then? Level's horizontal, isn't it? And like a deviation from the level would be up or down, wouldn't it? Isn't that what surveyors do?
Level diverges away from horizontal over distance. It's that simple. It's definitional.
Level diverges from horizontal.
Yes.
Okay, so
take a horizontal, establish a horizontal line or plane.
Yeah, like a water level
over
would
distance, the level surface of the water will diverge from that horizontal, from that one horizontal, your point of origin. Level will curve downwards away from the horizontal that was established at that origin point.
Okay, so how do we establish that horizontal, please?
You could use an auto level.
Oh, like a a level.
Yeah, an auto level. Yeah.
To measure
you're not seeming to
the
understand.
water level.
Just because you can establish level at a single point does not mean that the entire thing is level.
No, we're trying to work it out now. There's no need to get involved with this. We were getting somewhere then.
You can demonstrate the divergence.
Yeah.
The auto level and graduated measuring sticks over distance will demonstrate this.
That the water level drops away from your point.
Absolutely.
From where you are.
Absolutely.
So then what about if you leave a point like a mile behind you? Is that...
What if we do what we're talking about?
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out if water is always dropping away from you, how do you establish a point further back if that's going to be higher, or is it?
Why do you need to do that? Why?
Because we're trying to establish the deviation from level of the water level.
You can get the same thing if you turn around and look at it in that direction. Yes. Same thing will happen. Go to the middle of the canal if you so desire.
Yeah,
and do this.
Yeah, see, that's where I want to get to, right? So let's just imagine we've got a canal and one of us is at Apley Bridge, one of us is at Liverpool, and one of us is sort of in the middle somewhere, right? Does the water drop away from each of us individually?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you not picture in your head how a ball works?
So if I walk halfway, if I walk,
you got an image in the chat demonstrating what we're talking about. That's the illustration right there.
So
you don't need to ask all these stupid questions.
Let me get in a canoe at one end of the canal, and then am I going downhill to get to Liverpool at the other end? And
it's
then
not downhill.
Oh,
you're changing your orientation in relation to the sphere.
right. So, but he just said it.
Downhill.
We just said it goes away from you. Water drops away from you.
That's why
we already have the hypothesis. We can go test it.
Auto level.
And
your auto level establishes the horizontal.
Okay. So the water level will definitely drop away from that, will it?
Measure the drop from horizontal.
You can do that, can you?
Yeah.
You're saying that from personal experience, or you're just sort of assuming that somebody can do it?
I watched George do this. Yes.
You've watched George measure the drop in the water level.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You can do it too.
Yeah, nicely done. And can you tell me where you did they video this, or did you just watch it?
Yes.
They videoed it.
We've got full videos of it.
You've got videos of George measuring the.
Do you have to repeat everything?
Yeah, I'm just for clarity,
mate. Can you stop repeating everything? It takes so fucking long to have
I would just like for clarity to get.
Bev does that so that he can try to
repeat it in your head.
Bev does that specifically so that he can slow conversation and also so that he can find a way to misrepresent what was said.
No, I want to clarify what was said. Please clarify.
That's not a clarification statement.
It is.
It's a simple statement. We watched George do it. It's on George's channel. Go look at it.
I will do. What was it called? George measures the curvature of the water level.
Yeah,
what number did he come up with? Can you not remember? Can you remember?
Just
it was
a minute.
in keeping
Just
with
a
8
minute,
inches per
for
mile
fuck's
squared.
sake.
Is that a good number then?
Reasonable.
Reasonable. So George says
For the distance
that's
that
a
George
measured,
used, it was a
reasonable
reasonable
number.
estimation.
Have you got the
For the
links?
distances
Flash,
that George used, it
typing
was
them in?
reasonable.
This is George Netanyahu, is it?
No.
No.
Nachuk?
Sorry?
Nachuk, yeah, that's better.
George Narchuk.
I like how you made Nachuk. Yeah,
No.
for a second there, you
Same
made
guy
an
you
Israeli
said.
prime
You just
minister.
said it.
which was
I don't
weird.
know. I haven't got a clue. But I mean, like, so he's
So you
another
gotta tell
one.
us, Bev,
There's an honest statement from Bev. Bev hasn't got a clue. Thank you, Bev.
Well, I was just wanting to know because I'd like to talk to him now about that.
Well, when he gets done with his vacation,
Have you not
he's
seen
gonna
any
get
of
that
his work?
opportunity.
George,
Have you not seen any of his work?
did he?
Bev,
Is that
have you
the
not
stuff?
gone to his channel and looked?
Has he done some stuff with Jesse?
Yes.
Yes. Has he done some stuff
Jesse
with
and Sal
Maine
went
Surveyor
up
as
to
well?
The lake there in Minnesota.
Has he done work with Maine Surveyor as well?
I do not know.
Because
I have no idea.
there you
Have
guys.
have you seen George's channel at all,
You're
Bev?
getting quite
Have you seen any of his
quite a
videos?
team.
You
Yeah.
seem to know of him. You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
of George,
I've
right?
seen,
So
I've
have you
seen him.
Have you seen his?
He's done a few things on Ranties.
Have you seen his work?
He's done. Yeah, has he showed a
Have
few
you seen
things
the
on
work
Ranties?
we're talking about?
No, that's why I asked you.
So you've seen. It's been shown to you before, apparently.
Has it? I don't know. Maybe Jesse's one, as they've shown.
Hey,
me.
Bev, I'm gonna float this out there for you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you take Lake Pontchartrain, and
Oh,
you take
yes,
the
I like that.
Marriott. Yeah, the Marriott Hotel, and that is one of these graduated measuring sticks that you use. Now, you set up your auto level, or you set up any instrument level to view across the surface of the water.
Yeah.
And see where
See
horizontal.
the size of that water tower in the background.
Excuse me, Bev. Do we have to start the interruption thing already? Now, you use the Marriott as your measuring stick to measure the height of the intersection of horizontal with the stick, the Marriott. Okay, there's a very clear, simple example. The ground that the Marriott is on above the lake level over there on the other side of the lake is that far below your horizontal, which you claim is level, but you also claim the water is level. Okay, see, your horizontal, if it's level, then horizontal would intersect the Marriott or the bank on the lakeside, even below the Marriott, possibly, depending upon your elevations. See, if level is horizontal, however high you are above the water, that's where your horizontal should intersect your distant target.
Horizontals don't intersect. They never will.
Excuse me. Your horizontal will intersect the target.
No. Don't tell me my horizontals will
Your
intersect.
horizontal
They don't.
will intersect the target.
Stop it.
Don't tell me it will not. If it's tall enough. You're not going to divert from the point of this, Bev. Your horizontal intersects the target. It should do so at the same elevation that you are above your level water. If the water were flat. This is the divergence between horizontal and the level of your water surface. Now,
did that make sense to you? Because I didn't get it. Anyone else?
because you're fucking retarded or a liar.
Or just
I go with the
you
latter.
didn't explain it that way.
Play that, Chemo. He's gone.
Yeah.
Fuck. That was the best fucking clip all day.
Really?
Yeah. Well done.
If you're not just having a laugh, playing a game. This is like some British humor, I think. The way you guys like to try to debate things that are wrong, like the way the Flat Earth Society started, just to see if you can out-debate somebody on a point that you're wrong about, but win the debate. You guys have that kind of humor. This is kind of what created
I don't think that's what we do.
But if that's not the case, then you're absolutely fucking retarded. There's no doubt about it.
It's like one or the other dichotomy, is it? What you say?
Well, I mean, you could be a retard that's trolling. That's always possible.
Not the fact that I could be telling the truth, and
you're definitely wrong. You're wrong.
Definitely
I'm not going to say you're lying, but you're wrong.
Oh.
You could actually believe what he's saying. That's even.
Bev, there's photographic evidence of what I'm saying. You're a goddamn fool if you're going to sit here and try to deny it rationally.
Is that the perspective compression photo?
Fuck you.
Perspective cannot take something above the center line of vision and drop it below. That would mean that parallel lines cross.
No, I'm talking about the perspective compression shot of the Lake Pontchartrain. That's what we were talking about, wasn't it? No, that was Mick West that said that. Perspective compression. That's what magnifies a slight curve. That's what it does.
And if it were being applied the way you're saying it would, then it would necessarily make parallel lines cross, and that is not the case. And you are misusing what Mick West said and applying it to Stanley's photo.
Sorry, did you say would make parallel lines cross?
If what you say is accurate, parallel lines would necessarily have to cross.
You've lost me here. If what I say is accurate,
for the conversation for the conversation that was being had about the horizontal with you in that tower, for that tower to drop below center of frame, parallel lines would have had to cross.
I don't know. Were you imagining something different? I don't know what you're talking about there.
I can believe you don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, for you to come out with the fact that you think that I think that parallel lines would have to cross is rather ridiculous, isn't it?
I don't think you think that. I think the necessary implications of your idea of how the world works would make it necessary.
Run us through your logic then, please. Explain.
I've already done that. I'm not going to roll.
You have not explained it because I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. So, please,
I can't help that you don't understand simple shit. That's not a fault on me that you are
don't
fucking
seem
retarded.
To understand what I even thinking, because that's a bit warped, isn't it?
I've never said that you think this. I'm saying in the world that you've constructed, it's necessary that it would happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, you can't even follow what I'm saying.
Please explain the world you think I've constructed that ends you up thinking that may be a possibility for me. Please explain that.
Okay, something that is taller than you, going away from you. If at any point it drops below eye level in your observations, in your world, that means that parallel lines crossed.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Describe how it does.
If you can't get that,
do you know how perspective works?
Show me something in perspective that will drop something above my eye line, below my eye line, without it having dropped.
It depends where your focal point in the vision is, doesn't it? Because that's where you put wherever everything diverges into that point.
The focal point is the eye in its entirety. The eye doesn't work by half. Yeah, the eye doesn't work by half. The top half of the vision working differently than the bottom half of the vision or center frame. So the focal point is the eye in its entirety, the retina, the compound eye.
Brilliant.
You're just making shit up at this point.
All the images go to your brain. That's where you go. That's where you get all your images from. Electrical impulses inside your brain.
Yes, from a sensor.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Where's that get us?
And it gets us more intellectually honest than the shit that you were just about ready to say, which part, the focal point of the eye works in its entirety, the retina.
Yeah, so there's no point doing anything with images then, right?
And by the way, the other thing, Mick West was referring to the compression that Soundly was creating, getting 23 miles of the Pontchartrain Bridge compressed into the pixels of his camera.
Yep.
That's what McWest was referring to.
That's also known as
out of context.
Also known as foreshortening.
Yeah. You taking that out of context and making it as if McWest said something else
have you not
is
read his,
disingenuous.
Have you not read his quote? Like, because that's what it is. His quote.
Bev, I don't think you have an understanding of anything you've ever read, so I'm more willing to take their interpretation than yours.
Well, there you go. McWest. I was asking him about the pool cue, not the bridge. The pool cue. That's his reply.
Whoopee.
Yeah. Read it.
General idea. You look down a cue to see that it's bent.
Yeah, he magnifies. He uses perspective compression to magnify a slight curve in the pool cue.
Can you magnify a flat and make it curved?
Way to confirm literally everything I just said. It took 23 miles.
Can you
Soundly's
see?
images took 23 miles of the Pontchartrain Bridge and compressed it into the pixelization of his fucking camera.
Yeah.
Thanks for confirming that I literally just said that.
So there's no chance perspective compression could have had a little bit of refraction in there.
No.
Definitely no refraction in that photos, right? For him to magnify as though it's a curvature, is it?
No.
So there's no refraction in.
Wait. No, Bev. You can't magnify flat into a curve. There has to be a curve there for it to be magnified.
Yeah, but could it be a little bit of refraction that's been magnified?
Over the length of a pool cue? No.
No, the pool cue's a physical thing. He's showing you there what can happen.
Are you
You
saying
can
the water in the bridge
magnify
are physical?
a slight curve with perspective compression, as shown with the curvature of a pool cue that goes all the way down to the shaft.
Bev, you said something that really needs to be clarified there. Are you saying that the water and the bridge are not physical?
Pardon?
You said the pool cue is physical.
Yeah,
as
the pool
though
cue
the
is
water
physical,
and the bridge are not physical.
No, they're
Water and
physical,
bridge are
aren't
physical?
they? Yeah, they're physical.
Okay.
Yeah. So can we get that back to
What is the point of what is your objection in such a way that you would say, well, the pool cue is physical?
Well, the pool cue is a physical curve. He shows that what he's done, he's made it curve a little bit, because the question to him was, what are you doing with a pool cue like that, you muppet? How would you use that pool cue?
Bev, is the pool cue curved or not?
Have you seen how much curvature there is in it?
Is it curved or not?
Have you seen?
Is it curved or not?
Bev, is it curved?
We've done We've done few of these.
Is it curved?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have you seen how far the curve goes, though? Take a note of the top of it.
I think he's stupid.
Look.
Perspective compression cannot make something curved.
Look how far the curvature's gone on the pool cue.
Perspective compression cannot make something curved.
It looks like it's magnified a slight curve in that pool cue all the way down.
So it is curved. A slight curve is a curve.
Yeah, but look how far the curve's gone.
A slight curve is not flat.
Yeah, the slight curve has been slightly magnified as though it's all the way down the shaft.
It's not flat then, is it? It's not flat then, is it? We're arguing about how not flat it is now.
Yeah, it's a slight curve, isn't it?
Thank you. Yeah,
your magic made it look more curved.
A slight curve.
Is that right,
has
Bev?
been magnified into a pretty big curve there.
So it's not flat.
Bev, you must have a sub 70 IQ because you are own-goaling yourself so hard right now and you are oblivious to it.
Really?
Yeah, he did say he's not a flat earther, didn't you, Bev?
Yeah. There's no such thing
You're
as
not
flat
a flat
Earth.
earther, are
yeah,
you?
No, the Earth. There's mountains and valleys that can't be flat.
But you're a level water guy.
Sorry, I'm a what?
You're a level water guy.
Yeah.
Horizontal
Are you
water
not?
guy. You believe that water is horizontal.
The water level is horizontal. Yeah, that's what level means.
No, he's a water horizontal
No,
guy.
level
He's
does
not
not
a,
mean
he's not a water level
horizontal.
guy.
Yeah, it does.
You're not going to get away with that. Level does not mean horizontal.
Of course it does.
You've been given the definitions, and you know it's not. And you cannot present any from surveyors that show that they treat them the same.
I don't. It's one of them basics.
There's a reason they differentiate between horizontal and level.
Yeah, level's just a practical use of the word.
It's because they're different.
No,
that's why.
No. Like it's why they call it a plumb bob and not a vertical. It's like a practical use of different terms, isn't it?
They call it a plumb bob because that's the name of the tool to establish the vertical.
Yep. And a level is the name of the tool that establishes a horizontal.
Very good. It's horizontal.
Yep.
2 points. 2 points will establish a horizontal.
Yep.
And guess where the point of tangency is?
A horizontal
in the middle.
Yep.
That horizontal is tangent in the middle.
How does a water level work? Then?
Same as a plumb bob.
What?
Gravity.
No. You said in the middle of the 2 points. Well, a water level is two tubes.
Yes.
So what's in the middle of that?
That's where the plane. That's where the horizontal is perpendicular to a considered plumb line.
All the way across from one of the points to the other point is a horizontal plane.
That's right.
Oh my God. Yes.
But
the water level establishes a horizontal plane.
That horizontal is only perpendicular at one point.
What?
Vertical.
Right in the middle of the 2 points.
Yes, that's it. Once you go either direction of the center between those 2 points
of a water level,
diverging ever so slightly from level.
So are you saying that both of the ends?
To be under the impression that the ends of a water level somehow are what designate what's level.
Because that's where you look at it. They're the vials with
in the center.
Pardon?
Level is determined between 2 points. Let's see, what you're measuring and the center of what you're using as a measure. The line as it goes out on the edges of that level, that is just establishment of the plane between the 2 points that are vertical to each other.
This dude took no classes in any kind of fucking surveying.
Who was that?
That's a little confusing to me.
Who's just said that? What are you talking about? I'm looking for you. Come on.
You know who I am, Bev. Stop with the game.
Brian.
Yes.
Okay. So I sorry, I didn't see you. I didn't know who I was talking to. I didn't hear you. I didn't see you light up. Can you explain that again for everybody? Because I don't think anybody understood what you were talking about.
I understood perfectly what he was talking about. I think you need him to repeat it because you don't.
You have a point on the Earth. You take a point above that. Between those 2 points, you have X amount of distance. Now, the level, once you establish it, is going to be perpendicular to those 2 points. The length of the bar itself is just establishing that plane once you've got level. The ends of the bar aren't what you're using to measure. Those are just showing you the plane that you've established on the angle.
Right. Do you understand what a water level, the tool, is, though?
I mean, a bubble level?
No. Not a bubble level.
One with the one with the tube that connects 2 columns. Yeah.
Yes, I'm talking. Brian, do you understand what a water level is?
The point exactly in the middle between those 2 tubes is the point that is being measured above the Earth.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
When you use a water level, you use the 2 ends to establish a level. You don't use the point in the middle.
They're measuring the mean. They're measuring the mean between. They're measuring the mean distance between the 2 points. They're measuring the midpoint between those 2 distances and giving you the level of the interior.
It's a horizontal plane, isn't it? The whole thing from one of them points to the other one is all level. It's horizontal.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
If you were to measure the level of each of the columns of water, they would not be at the same. They would not. There would be two lines that crossed. They would not be a common line.
Have
what
you
it
seen
does
my
describe
water level
is
test?
the level at the midpoint between the two columns. The two columns describe halfway between the two columns is the point which is tangent to the point on Earth.
So that should be higher.
Lower.
It should be lower.
The
It'd be concave.
It describes the sagittar.
Right. So sorry. So you've got one end and the other end. What happens to the bit in the middle?
The bit in the middle is what is being determined for level. That's the point above the Earth that you're trying to establish a plane for that tangent.
Okay, so that's the same as the two levels of the water outside, so that you could just draw a line in between them two levels of a water level.
Right. Bev, if you had three columns on a water level, the middle one would show a higher point than the two outside.
Well, why is he saying that the reference point of the two levels is the centre of that point?
I said that's where it's perpendicular.
Yeah, that's where it's tangent to the surface.
That's
right.
What horizontal is, perpendicular at one point.
Right, here we go. Check this out. In the chat box. Can you
yeah,
see
put
that?
a water level in the chat box.
Yep. Can you see that now?
Yep. That's
right, so
the way it is. That's our world, Bob. Get used to it.
The red tubes goes from one end to the other.
Can you see that the red tubes at the extreme ends are not the same vertical as the centre?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I know. You
No,
just
it's
have
not.
to go with it.
No, it's not.
What?
That is what is happening. Grossly exaggerated.
Right. Okay, so we'll go with that. So the horizontal line that's established between the blue water, the red water level, looks pretty much horizontal, doesn't it?
Only horizontal to the centre point.
Okay, but then blue ones are also establishing a horizontal, which looks way different than the horizontal that the red tubes are doing.
Yeah,
right?
That's because we're on a spherical object.
Okay, so the verticals and the horizontals bisecting like that, that's not Euclidean geometry, that, is it? Because a horizontal don't intersect like that, do they?
It's a circle.
No.
That is Euclidean geometry.
No. That's not.
Radius, tangent.
Yeah,
you were looking at an orthographic view, therefore it is necessarily Euclidean geometry.
Yeah. But the horizontals and the verticals are perpendicular, right? In reality, you understand that, right?
At the points
Each
that they're
horizontal is perpendicular to...
So, but not at every point. I mean, like,
vertical.
do you realise what you're saying here, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go on, tell us what we're saying.
You're saying that you don't really understand geometry and you're struggling.
No.
Bev, I don't think you wouldn't pass a high school geography. I don't think you'd pass a high school geometry course, like, let alone what you're trying to sell.
So you're okay. You're okay with intersecting horizontals, are you? You know that conforms to your geometry.
You don't understand. I can't help that you don't understand what each of those horizontals is in relation to.
Well, it's not reality, is it?
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Do you know what's not reality, Bev? Your insistence upon using plane geometry and asserting that applies to the Earth. That's what's unreasonable.
Okay, just you tell us which geometry you're using. It'll be
Euclidean.
Fine. What, pardon?
Euclidean, you knob.
You're using Euclidean geometry as well.
That is fucking Euclidean geometry right there.
Not with intersecting horizontals like that, it isn't, no.
Yes, it is.
What's wrong with you?
Now, Because you've got one horizontal that's meeting a vertical there.
Hey, wait a minute.
The angle isn't perpendicular.
Dickhead, you're telling me
horizontal is a relationship.
Geometry on a fucking circle. Is that what you're claiming, Bev?
Pardon?
Say it loud, say it proud.
I didn't hear what you said.
Geometry does not apply to a circle. Say it.
Why would I say that? It's postulate number 3. That's
Then
what defines a circle. That's what you know that defines a circle.
Study, learn, understand. Quit being such a knob.
Nice.
You're retarded or you're very bored.
Yeah, so are you all right with that teacher's saying where one
Yes.
person's horizontal can be another person's vertical?
Yes.
Yes. What about when she says she teaches children which axioms apply and when the axioms apply and when they don't? Is that all right to teach kids?
Where would that come up in a syllabus?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where would that come up in a syllabus? I don't think kids are ever introduced to such.
What, when axioms apply and when they don't within geometry?
Yeah, that's advanced.
No, it's not. The axioms of Euclidean geometry are pretty damn simple.
You can argue that, but until you bring up a copy of a syllabus with it on, we won't believe.
If you have a
vertical, arguing it. No,
vertical and a horizontal
evidence now,
perpendicular to each other.
Otherwise, it's a moot.
Vertical and horizontal. You understand.
You don't seem to have an ability to understand three-dimensional space and orientations relative to each other. What is your spatial orientation must suck. How the hell do you ever pack a bag to go anywhere?
And as far as like the axioms go, when you start dealing with a sphere versus a plane, you've got to choose what axioms to use.
Oh, you mean you change your geometry? Because they're not compatible, are they? Like this one or the other. You can't.
Perpendicular changes its meaning.
Yeah. So if you're going to use spherical geometry, you know what it's entailed if you go into that, don't you?
Dude, on our daily life, spherical geometry is not a necessity. We build buildings that are, a quarter of an acre. We build plots in a quarter of an acre.
That'd be no use for spherical geometry, would it?
Yeah, I know. Spherical geometry is not needed. Now, if you want to go out and something and do a building pad that's fucking 2.5 miles by 2.5 miles, then yes, it would definitely need to be taken into account.
Spherical geometry.
But if you took a surveying class, you would fucking know this. You keep demonstrating you have fuck all knowledge of surveying, and that's my problem with people like you.
Yeah, well, spherical geometry is just the geometry of a two-dimensional surface of a sphere, isn't it? So there's no height to spherical geometry because it's only concerned with the surface of the sphere.
Right, but it is a curved two-dimensional surface.
Yeah.
So,
okay, what's your point?
How would that be used within surveying? Is the question.
Because it's on the surface.
Yeah, because they're literally measuring the surface.
Measuring lines, but them lines would have to be curved, right?
They are. When they measure the angles between three given points, the internal angles exceed 180 degrees.
It's a triangle. You're talking about measuring lines, aren't you? You're only talking about...
Actually, the deviation from lines.
What? So you measure the deviation and then convert it into a straight line distance, do you? So you can use Euclidean geometry, or what's the process work? Just run us through it.
So I asked you a question that you ignored. So when they measure the internal angles between three given points that exceeds like 2 miles, the internal angles add up greater than 180 degrees. How do you account for this?
They've done something wrong. You're talking to the wrong surveyors, or
Nope.
you've misunderstood what they were saying.
No, not one of those things.
So let me get this straight.
Spherical excess. Spherical excess is well understood within surveying.
Right. So I'm stood at A. I'm looking at B. I establish that as my 0. I turn, look at C. There's an angle there. Correct?
Dude.
Correct?
Okay, yeah, you haven't taken... No. You, as observer A, looked at B and C. There's an angle between position B
That's
and
what I just said.
position
Yes,
C.
that angle. I'm measuring that angle. Yeah?
Yep, and then C is
Then I'll
doing
move.
the same thing that A and B. And B is, no, not you don't need to move.
Yeah, I'm measuring the angles. I'm measuring the angles of this triangle. That's what you said.
He's not gonna let you have additional people to measure the other angles.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's just like somebody is at these points measuring angles, correct?
Yep, all 3 of them. Yep.
Okay. So we've got this triangle now, and we've got added up these angles. And what's up with them?
They exceed 180 degrees.
You've done something wrong, mate.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope. Happens every time.
Nope.
Yeah.
Anything larger than 90 degrees is an obtuse angle. And anything lower than 90 degrees is an acute angle. So yeah, it's meant obtuse.
Yeah. Hold on.
Happens every time with every measure.
Did this person do something wrong too when they drew 390-degree angles on a ball?
They didn't measure that though, did they? They just
but
did that on the ball. You've got a bit of a disconnect here, mate.
On a ball you want.
Like one of them, you're holding a sphere, and the other one, you've just measured angles in reality.
Yeah,
I like how Bev's entire argument against geodesic surveying is, you've obviously done something wrong.
Well, no, you've just measured an angle. I'm the one that said, yeah.
It's non-Euclidean geometry anyway. It's spherical geometry. What are you on about?
Spherical geometry is only on the surface of a sphere. You can't lift yourself off it and then start measuring things.
Sure can.
It's got to be 2-dimensional to start with, hasn't it?
2-dimensional surface of a sphere for spherical geometry, yeah.
And what's the problem with that?
It's 2-dimensional.
So, Bev, if I took you out to 3 known locations and had you measure the angles between there, and it exceeds 180 degrees, you're going to say you did something wrong?
Yeah, damn right. Triangle. The internal angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees.
So, Bev, if no matter what you did, it always came up wrong.
Well, it wouldn't. Because you're looking and you're just measuring angles between points, the surface that you're doing that from won't matter. So the angles will always be 180 degrees. You'd have to be really stupid to think that they weren't. But I mean, it's okay.
Hey, Bev, so you're telling me all of the surveyors in a field have done this wrong for 250 years? They're all fucking wrong. They're going to do it wrong again today, right?
No, I think you're mistaken in what you think they've done.
I'm not mistaken, dude. I'm not mistaken. I work in an industry that's worked with geodetic surveyors for a long fucking time. So you're going to tell me the geodetic surveyors that's going to go out and work today, the thousands across the United States and the tens of thousands all around the world are going to get it fucking wrong again today, and nobody really. Every heavy civil highway project that goes up, every person's land that exceeds thousands of square acreage comes up to be right, admissible in court, and doesn't fucking fail. Somehow they're still getting it all wrong, right?
Did you just say it was admissible in court that triangles, when they measure them, can be over 180 degrees? Is that?
No, I didn't say that. I said people's properties that exceed, tens of thousands of acres that's been surveyed.
Yep.
Which is when they take when there's a dispute about boundary lines, that surveyor's information is admissible in court. Yes.
Well, you know that surveyors use Euclidean geometry, don't you? You do know that, don't you?
When it exceeds.
Ooh, careful.
When it exceeds like 2 miles by 2 miles.
2 miles by 2 miles.
Yeah.
Wiki says it's 100 miles squared. So.
That's on average.
Oh, on average, but you've brought it down to 2.
But it can be measured. It can be measured that if it was an equilateral triangle, would add up to like 60 point, whatever degrees. 60 point. Whatever.
Like we were talking earlier about the Geological Survey of the UK. Like, when they originally did it, they did it with chains and levels and theodolites, and they measured angles. I'm gonna get back
to the question you keep avoiding to ask me a question.
They find.
Are you telling me they're gonna get this wrong again today?
They found a few points.
Right. You
across
keep avoiding
thingy, and then they did what they call.
You have no idea what you're talking about. So
triangulation.
Are they get it wrong today? Yes or no, Bev? Yes or no, Bev?
The triangulation of the UK. Now, they have since gone back and done a better version of it, and they've got better results. And they say now that within an inch, they reckon. So, if they're within an inch within their triangulation things, and I can guarantee you, they couldn't do triangulation if they didn't know what the internal angles of a triangle. I can guarantee you, anybody ever's done triangulation will pretty much assume, trigonometry involved as well, that the internal angles of a triangle are 180 degrees. That's right angle triangles. That's known, isn't it? I mean, it's a bit of a fundamental geometry.
Cool story, bro. So, are you going to answer the question? Are they going to get it all wrong again today?
If they're measuring more than 180 degrees within their triangles when they are actually out practically doing their job, yeah, they've done something wrong, mate.
So why is so they get it wrong every day?
Because, like, when you
everything's possible. Okay. Cool story, bro.
When you do trigonometry, you've got an angle and a side, don't you? You can do all of the rest. You don't like one of the other angles is assumed if you've got a right angle. Right?
What?
No.
What kind of a knob are you?
It is a measure of every angle. You don't assume to measure down to 180.
You don't.
Otherwise, you'll get wrong numbers.
No.
This is exactly this shit right here that he says is exactly how I know. This dude never took any kind of surveying course whatsoever.
He said you need an angle and a side. The other angle's assumed. What angle is assumed?
The other angle of a triangle, because they add up to 180 degrees, right?
Hey, Bev, there are 3 angles in a triangle.
Yeah,
if you have one angle and one side, there are 2.
You got a right angle, don't you?
Angle.
Yeah, you have a right angle.
Now, what other angle? Bev, why are you talking? Now, what other angle is assumed? There are 2 other angles. Please clarify your point if you have one.
The right angle of a right-angled triangle.
There you go. Now, there's some context that was not previously present.
Well, I don't know.
Nobody knew.
I was assuming you knew a bit more about it, but I mean,
you're not assuming a right triangle if you don't have one.
Yeah, you just said a triangle.
Why did you bring right triangle into
if you have
this?
one angle, one side. That's what you said. That's all you said. You didn't say right triangle. You said triangle.
Yeah, I presume that you being surveyors and we're talking about surveying, you'd understand what a right angle triangle was and how it actually used within
right
surveying.
Triangle is presumed in surveying.
Yeah, through a vertical
what
and a
right
horizontal
is presumed.
You muppet.
Again, what right triangle is presumed?
the vertical and the
Wait,
horizontal.
we're talking about three independent locations all measuring the angles to each other. Why are you talking about a triangle as though we're measuring the height of a tree?
And he's gone to vertical and horizontal now.
Yeah, because that's how it's used within surveying. But what don't you get about this?
Is that the only way?
It's geometry, isn't it? Do you not understand this? I mean, this is what surveying's all about.
Look, we
Bev,
were
you
talking
switched-
about
you
a
switched what
different
you were talking about
triangle,
halfway
Bev. You
through,
switched
what
it
the
up
problem
without
was.
telling
No.
anybody.
No, you must have got confused.
No.
We've been talking about the same thing
No, Bev.
all the
Bev,
time.
you just started talking about right triangles and switched to vertical and horizontal when that's not what we were speaking about.
We're talking about the internal angles of a triangle, aren't we?
At 3 different points on the Earth.
Measured, you said.
All right,
Yes,
look, dickhead.
measured.
If you've got a horizontal and a vertical forming a right angle,
Yeah.
guess where the third point is? It's not on the Earth.
Right, are you... Spaceman measuring. So how are you
Well,
measuring
that's
when
what
you
you're-
say this?
That's what you're... Hey, that's what you're claiming you were referring to.
What I was
So get it
claiming
through
I
your
was
head. You're the
referring
one
to.
that fucked up. You were wrong, Bev. Own it.
What was I talking about? And what have I been talking about?
Switched it. You switched
what did
it
I
without
switch?
saying so. You didn't specify. You claim you switched it without telling anybody
No.
you had switched the
You
topic.
openly stated that you'd measured triangles, and surveyors do it every day, and they measure triangles with triangles greater, internal angles greater than 180 degrees. You said that. I didn't make you say that.
Triangles on the surface of the Earth.
You said they
Triangles on the
measure
surface.
it daily.
Triangles on the surface of the Earth, Bev.
Yes, and you must measure greater than 180 degrees. You said that. That's what they do.
I technically didn't say that.
Oh,
That
yes, you
wasn't
did.
me, but hey, dickhead, I have not said that. Okay, but it is true.
I said it.
Just to clear it up.
Right. Okay.
A spherical triangle will have angles greater than
which
180.
is what
They will say
surveyors
greater than
in
180.
reality do.
A spherical
Is it?
triangle.
That's what surveyors do
Geodetic.
in reality.
Geodetic surveyors will find that the angles are greater than 180 degrees.
Will they?
Yes, that's why geodetic surveying.
Yes, really.
They
is a
will measure it, will they?
Yes, they will measure it. There
Yes,
is, in
they
any
will.
reference books about geodetic surveying, whole chapters on something called spherical excess.
Yep.
This is where you get to the subject of angles greater than 180 degrees in a triangle.
Yeah, and that's measured though with their
That is
theodolite
measured,
between the
yes.
points.
Yes, that is measured.
Do you understand how that works though? But this is what the point I want to get to you. Like that only occurs if your lines are curved.
Over a curved surface, why should that be a surprise?
Because you're looking through a scope and measuring an angle between two verticals, aren't you?
I'd like to warn everybody right now, be very careful what you say. Make sure you know what you're talking about. Because what Bev is on about is correct.
Yeah, I've always been correct, mate.
Don't get caught up. Don't get caught out by him here.
It's a
Because what
very
he's
nice
saying is
bait and
true.
switch he brought up
Make
here.
sure you know what you're talking about.
I've not done a
if you
bait and
proceed any
switch. No,
further.
no. This is your claim, guys. Your claim. So these surveyors, and they are looking at points A to B. I'll measure that angle. I'll go to B, measure A to C, and I'll measure that angle. I'll go to C, measure B to A, and I'll add that angle. Now I've got 3 angles. I'm going to add them together. What would happen, do you reckon?
180.
Huh.
When you're measuring 3 lines of sight like that, you're measuring a planar triangle.
Yeah.
And this is not a spherical triangle.
Right.
That particular form of measurement is not how they come up with the spherical triangle that yields the spherical.
Can you explain people how they come up with that spherical triangle then? Go on.
No, I cannot. That's the most honest answer. I cannot give you the details on it. I'm not sure myself.
Okay, do you want me to give you my idea of how they do it?
Please do.
They measure it through Euclidean geometry, like everybody does, and measures the angles and all of that. And then they say, we've got to put it on a model, otherwise they'll never believe it.
Okay, so you don't know either.
No, they just wrap it around the model.
Hold on, link those two things together. We've got to put it on a model, else they'll never believe it.
Yeah.
So how do you get that?
Because the water level is horizontal. And
no, I'm talking about...
It's too obvious unless you wrap it around a ball and float it in space for you.
But people won't believe it unless it's on a spherical ball. Otherwise, they would just... We can't possibly believe this. Is that...
Well, you seem to be reluctant to believe that water level is horizontal.
I'm talking about your claim that you've just made.
Yeah.
Which is that they have to do this because otherwise people wouldn't believe it. I'm wondering how you...
You guys have nothing to go to in your imagination.
No, but we're talking about... It's nothing to do with us guys, is it? It's not us guys.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Hang on. The geodetic surveyors aren't thinking we need to make this work for the guys in Discord. Your claim is that, generally speaking, nobody could believe the measurements of a geodetic surveyor unless they've wrapped it around some model.
Your geodetic surveyors don't even know what geometry they're using, so I don't know. I wouldn't put much thingy on. If I was you, I'd have a word with them first to make sure what they can actually validify.
Oh, I've spoken to Jesse Kozlowski a few times. I've watched his videos, yeah.
Nice.
And the main surveyor is another one that...
you know the main surveyor.
I don't know him, but I've seen his stuff.
No, they were dissing him earlier. These guys didn't know who he was. He was a nobody when I showed his meme and his picture.
Well, he's cropped up a couple of times, hasn't he? I don't think he's done much more than that. He's been on a show or two, I think, maybe.
He's supposedly measured that plumb lines aren't parallel. Like, measured. He's got a claim out there. He's got a video.
It's a while since I've seen him. I saw him on a hangout with Jesse once.
He's even done a meme that was showing the lads earlier where he's got intersecting horizontals. What do you think about that? Do you like that?
It doesn't bother me, Bev.
Intersecting horizontals don't bother you?
No, not in any way.
A natural consequence of a spherical surface.
What? Vertical being a radius and horizontal being a tangent?
Yep.
Yeah, but that's not what vertical and horizontal are, is it? Like, come on.
On a spherical object, yes, that is what they
Which
are.
geometry does that follow?
It's still Euclidean.
What?
Still Euclidean. Circle, radius, tangent.
Yeah.
Great circle.
No, you're
the
struggling.
The circumference of the Earth is a great circle, Bev.
You're violating a few postulates, aren't you? And also a couple of the axioms.
Bev, you get this, Bev. The great circle, that's your line of sight.
The great circle's spherical geometry, mate. That's not Euclidean.
Excuse me?
Yeah, great circles are spherical geometry. That's not Euclidean.
No, but a great circle is a circle. Euclidean geometry applies to a great circle.
No, a great circle's a straight line on a sphere, isn't it? What you call a straight line on a sphere in spherical geometry. Intersects circle and two antipodal positions.
No, dude. You take the circle, you apply Euclidean geometry to that circle. You can work with Euclidean geometry.
Yeah, with the circle. Easy. Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, so you have no point.
What do you mean I have no point? You know
exactly what I said.
Do you know how to define a circle in Euclidean geometry?
Yeah, the locus of all points equidistant from the center.
Yeah, you just need
And of course they're all coplanar.
A point and a distance, don't you? That's all you need to define a circle.
Well, they need to be coplanar. That may be implied and not explicit, but if they're not coplanar, then you've got something other than a circle.
Right. Can you find any relation to horizontal and the circle in relation to the horizontal?
Yeah, the tangent.
What where is that stated though, that the horizontal has to have has to be a tangent?
When you're dealing with a circle, that's what the tangent is, horizontal.
Right, so every time you draw a graph and you have a vertical and a horizontal axis, do you always draw a circle underneath that horizontal?
We're not working with a graph.
No, you're just working with horizontal, aren't we?
We're working with the surface of the Earth.
Yeah, like plumb bobs and level, horizontal.
Yeah, plumb bob is collinear with the radius.
Right. So vertical and horizontal aren't perpendicular.
Yeah.
This is the point that we get to.
Every fucking time, Bert.
I know, but you have a problem. Your geometry doesn't follow.
You have a problem. You have a problem because you don't understand it the way everyone else understands it. You're
geometry,
incredulous at
I do.
it.
I really understand geometry.
And on top of that, you have this absurd idea that the Earth is flat.
Oh, come on, Jim.
Hang on.
I have an absurd idea that you keep making up. Right?
And
that one, that absurd idea.
Well, yeah, that one. Yeah. The one where you. Well, actually, yeah. Let me expand on your absurd idea. You have an absurd idea where you believe the Earth is flat, but you pretend that you don't.
No, don't.
I'm still talking.
Yeah, you're telling me what I believe, and I'm going to correct you every time you're wrong. Because
you haven't let me finish.
Don't try and tell me what I believe.
Because
okay. So reword the beginning of your sentence. Reword the beginning of it.
Don't believe the Earth is flat on the basis that.
How do you know what I believe and what I don't believe?
Is a place with no hills or valleys.
Jem, the fortune
teller. That is another
teller.
Pretend because
Mind
nobody
reader,
else
Jem.
believes it that way.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what my point was.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just make it up, Jem. Make it up.
But we're back at this stage again. You know our position. We know your position. You wanna pretend that the Earth's flat. I don't really. What's the point? I mean,
Jem.
You can pretend you don't understand these things, and you need us to explain them to you.
I could pretend I don't see mountains and I don't see valleys and trees aren't there. I can pretend I don't see any of that.
Well, you don't have to pretend that.
Pretend that the water level bends.
That's not the pretense.
That's not pretend that.
No, I'll tell you. I've told you what the pretense is. I'll tell you again, since you missed it. The pretense is pretending that flat Earth means a place with no hills or valleys. Doesn't mean that to anyone but you.
I don't know.
So that's a pretend. Yeah, you're pretending.
It's in whatever you believe it is in your head, isn't it?
No, it's what it's generally understood to mean, and it isn't generally understood to mean that.
Well, I don't know what it's generally understood to mean. You asked me for my version of it.
I'm a native English speaker. I thought you were. Okay. But I do have an understanding of I do know what it's generally understood to mean.
Okay, can you give me a citation then? Of
it's not generally understood to mean. Oh, I could give you loads. I could give you thousands.
I'll tell you my.
Get me any flat earther in here now. Let's ask them. Let's go in 24/7 now and say, do you guys you call yourselves flat earthers? That means you think there's no hills or valleys, and they're all going to agree with me.
No, I'm only speaking for me, and I ask that you do the same. Don't speak for me as though I'm somebody else, and I've said something that I haven't said, and other people have said it, though, so you're going to have to defend that, because other people have said it.
That's fine.
We can do the same for you if you want.
You're agreeing with me. You're speaking for you.
Yes.
You have your own personal definition of this word, which nobody else is using. That's my point, exactly.
No, my point is the point. Why do you keep telling me what I believe?
You can't expect to be understood in the English language if you take words from the English language and apply your own meaning to them that only you're using. That's why you're not being understood correctly, isn't it?
Well, you could just ask me.
That's why you're being
like you have done last time. You asked me.
That's why you're being offended at being accused of being something because you don't understand what that something is. You
Accused
think
of
it's
being
something
a child abuser.
No, accused of being a flat earther. You think that means something different to what everyone else thinks.
That's the same thing to some people, isn't it?
Bev, if you don't believe you're a flat earther, why have you got flat earth profile in Discord 24/7?
Pardon?
Why have you got flat earth all over your profile in Discord 24/7?
I don't know.
Well, you must know. You're a mod. You're a mod over
I've
there.
not been over there for
You're
a
a
while.
mod over there, Bev. You're a mod over there. You're a silver flat earther, and you've got flat tamacker on your profile.
I'm not. Yeah, I can see mountains and valleys.
Oh, is that
I'm going to post your profile picture, Bev. So you're telling me that all the months that you was on Discord 24/7, you didn't know you had these roles, even though you're a mod over there.
Okay.
So does that make you mean you're either really stupid, Bev, or you're dishonest now, doesn't it?
Did it?
Look, moderator, gold, silver, flat
Did
earth,
it work
valued, flat
as-
earther,
Do you want-
and a flat smacker, Bev.
Do you want me
How'd
to?
you flat smack if you don't believe the earth's flat, Bev?
Do you want me to answer or?
Well, yeah, go on. I'd like to see why you got all that all over your profile.
There are mountains and valleys.
Right, so you're dishonest then.
They.
So you're dishonest then.
Hey, do you want me
So
to
you're
finish or
no,
not?
you're
Do you not want me to?
dishonest.
You don't want me to
You
finish.
just answered.
Do you want me to
Dishonest,
talk
Bev.
about or not?
You just
you want
dishonest.
You don't
Bev.
want me
It's
to
quite
talk.
clear. No, not really. You're dishonest, mate.
Well, if you're not going to let me hear me out, then what's the point of asking me a question?
Well,
You're
because I
like
just
Jem.
wanted the room
Like
to,
Jem, just believe what you want.
Dishonest.
Do you want to believe something?
No, I'm not. I'm believing your profile, Bev.
Yeah, you want to believe.
You're telling me your profile's wrong then?
Do you want me to answer? Yeah.
Yeah, go on then. Go on then. For a laugh, go on then.
There are mountains and valleys.
Right, exactly. You're a dishonest cunt, Bev.
That's not flat, but the water level is horizontal. It's level. The water is level, right?
So why aren't you a horizontal smacker then, or a horizontal?
A lot of people have that title, don't they? And it initiates a conversation, doesn't it? When people get triggered by telling you that you are something you are not. And this is precisely the reason I use this conversation.
So why didn't you correct them over on 24/7 then, Bev?
I did.
Why didn't you?
I did.
You're a mod.
Have
You're
you
a mod over
have you
there.
never heard me talk? Have you
You're a mod.
have
You're
you
a mod
never
over
heard
there,
me
Bev.
say this before?
You're a
Mark?
mod over there.
Have you
Bev.
never
So
heard me say this? I'm sure you must have done. I've been doing it for a year.
Bev, then. So I've got to mute you so I can say something, Bev. So why didn't you correct your roles then, Bev? You're a mod over there. You can change your roles.
It's a good trigger, isn't it, Mark? It's a good trigger, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a good trigger for being dishonest, Bev. I agree with you.
Being dishonest.
Yeah, you're being dishonest, Bev. You come in here and say, don't call me a flat earther,
Yeah.
but you don't do anything over there when you're called
What's a flat
do
earther,
you,
Mark?
Bev?
What's a flat earther?
A fucking retard, Bev.
Well, there you go.
It's
So that's how you can label people with that label,
Well, I haven't labelled
and then
you've labelled
you can.
yourself, Bev.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
labelled yourself,
Yes,
Bev.
and once
labelled
labelled,
yourself, mate.
once labelled, what do you call us, Mark?
You called yourself flat.
What do you call us, Mark? All of
A
you.
retard. No,
Yeah.
because I'll call you a
retard,
not
moron,
flat, it's because
child
you're a retard,
abuser.
I've
You
never
can
called
go
you a
at
child
all of
abuser,
them.
have
Yeah,
I?
no, but you support all of everybody
never-
else that does the
No,
same
so
thing.
I support people now that
Yeah.
call you a child abuser. When I've said in chat
No,
that I don't
no.
agree with Cosmo. So
Oh,
get your
hold
fucking
on. I
facts
think
right.
I'm pretty sure you support Nathan Oakley. You've come in here with his swantard nonsense a number of times.
The logical argument, really.
Well, he's accused
really.
people-
You're going to sort of say Nathan Oakley is the we have to throw logic out now because Nathan Oakley's used it.
No.
Yeah, come
Hang
on.
Can I
Jim.
finish? Am I allowed to make this point, or is it just going to be you talking over me constant? You've just said we should throw stuff at you. You don't like the idea of being called a child abuser. You think that's a reason?
Who does?
Well, Nathan Oakley's accused people of being child abusers.
I don't
falsely. Well, he has.
Oh, he has, and he's been fucking shot down for it and all.
Yeah, but does he say to everybody, here's a label, you label somebody with this label and then we can call them whatever we want?
Oh, he did exactly that. He did exactly that.
Which group of people were this then? Which group of people was Nathan Oakley doing when he did that?
You should be bothered, shouldn't you?
About what?
You're bothered because about him being accusing people of being child abusers. This is something
I don't know. I've never heard that. I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, you have heard it now. I've told you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll if I ever get chance to talk to him, I will ask him about it. Fair enough.
That's it.
Good enough.
That's it.
Well,
You're not going to look into it any further than that.
Listen. I've never talked to Nathan apart from when on the show, right?
It doesn't matter.
Do you want to go and talk to him about it? You go on his show and talk about it.
It doesn't matter.
Go,
I'm
Jem.
not the one.
Dare you? Go on Nathan Oakley's show and talk to him.
Okay. The last thing you said was go on Nathan Oakley's show. I've heard you say that. You don't need to repeat it.
Hey, Stiggy, say something.
Your problem here is that your big deal is that you've been called a child abuser.
No,
that's the terrible injustice that you're always in here preaching about.
No, it's just it's what you want to talk about.
And here you are finding out.
I've got to go and do some housework, mate.
Yeah, off you go. Yeah, see ya.
Okie dokie.